Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art Thibert. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art Thibert's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini-print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually, or together as a bundle. Art Thibert's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now, on Indiegogo.
What is up, all of you fine people? Welcome to SHANTH ENJETI Art. I am SHANTH ENJETI, coming to you live and slightly undead from the heart of Lovecraft country and the birthplace of American religious liberty. Let's have a great show today. I've got a lot of stuff to catch you guys up on. A lot of crazy things happened. I was AWOL last week, and I don't usually talk about these things beforehand, but I want to talk about them now. So I took my first family vacation in, I want to say, 8 years that I can recall going and actually taking a vacation. And we went down to Orlando, Universal Orlando, with the kids. We had a really great time, did a couple of days there and checked out all that stuff. So I actually spent a couple of days not thinking about work for I don't know how long, and it was a great time with the family, great time with the missus, and we had a wonderful time. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that, but I also want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We are now next Tuesday. Can you believe it? Next Tuesday, I am launching the Second Chance campaign for Nosfero, the Crypt Walker. And it's going to be a crazy weekend. I'm going to be dropping my son off at college that weekend, and then I'm going to be back launching a book. But that's how we do things. We're always spinning plates. There's many things going on, and you guys know it. So let me see, where are my channel members at? Where are you guys in the chat? I got to say hello to you. We have got my man Mark's Music Obsession in the house. It is great to see you, Mark. I hope you are doing very, very well. Let's see who else we've got here. Do we got any other? Oh, we got Simply Green in the house. It is great to see you, my friend. All right, excellent, my friend. Stephen Rockwood, have a great stream. 7 days until the 20th. You know it, the Alpha, the Omega, my man. Stephen Rockwood, it is so great to see you, brother. And let me see if I can make this stuff work. Every time I click on something, it's like, ban so-and-so from chat. I'm like, I'm just trying to share it. You got to relax just a little bit. We've got Mr. Monkey Boy in the house. It is great to see you, Mr. Monkey Boy. We've got Sleeping Psychopathy in the house. How come? This is weird. My comments were going behind the screen there. We've got Duck Bacon. Always makes me smile. I love that, man. I love that, Duck Bacon. We've got Anthony Gonzalez Clark, the man. Joe Frankenstein being represented in the house, folks. That's how we do it. Let's see who else I've got. I probably missed some people here. Emo Trash is here. It is great to see you, my friend. Yeah, you don't have to get work done if you don't want it, but, get it done if you do. John is here. It's great to see you, John. I hope you're doing well, brother. We've got JWK Creates in the house. Hey, all hey to you, JWK Creates. It's great to see you, my friend. And let me see. Did I miss anybody else? Deb is here. Deb, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well, my friend. What is up, Comicsgate? Indeed. What is up? Everything. Enthusiasm is up. Excitement is up. I am pumped to talk about the possibilities, and a lot of that has to do with the trip I took, but also, just totally randomly got in some streams. We closed out Aaron Lopresti's Kit Carter, which was really cool to do. I just gotten back from the trip. I was a little bit out of it on that stream, and then, of course, post-Kangs last night, I woke up right before that show because I passed out all day, so it's been a lot of craziness. Let's see who else we've got here. Anyone else? I missed Rocky. Hey, pal. Surprise stream, just what I needed. Excellent. I am happy to provide whatever it is that you need, my friends. That is what it's about. So, guys, let me talk to you a little bit about, just sketching and art, my excitement about Nosfero the Crypt Walker, my excitement about so many things. Cherish Psalms, it is great to see you in the house. How are you doing? And, of course, channel member Cranberry Langers, God bless you. Guten Tag, my friend. I hope you are doing very, very well. So I went down to Universal Orlando. We'd had this trip planned for a little bit, and we, of course, had to contend with our schedule being pushed back a day because of, the hurricane that was being had. It kind of caused a little bit of a ruckus, if you will, with air traffic and all of that kind of thing. But we got down there, and I haven't, as I mentioned before, I haven't taken a vacation in 8 years, and I've been doing the Comicsgate thing, the YouTubing thing, and of course during a lot of that there was the teaching thing on top of all of that stuff. And one of the things that it dawned on me was, one, I haven't really done anything substantial to recharge, to spend time with my wife and kids, and to leave. When you work at home, I know a lot of you guys probably know this, some of you guys have been self-employed, you never leave work. Work is always, there, and you always feel like you should be doing something for it. But I went down there. I had been, I think, before they had Islands of Adventure, so I'd been there a long time ago. And to see, what they've done since then with the Harry Potter land, and with all of the various, stuff that they've got going on, it was wild. I mean, it was hot. It was like the surface of the sun. Hot. I mean, I thought, well, this is how it ends for me. Hot. You Floridians know. What's up, Gen X Catholic? How are you doing, my brother? It is great to see you. Always good to have my generation, Gen X, talking about my generation, represented in the house. It is so great to see you, man. And it is, it's a pretty crazy thing, because I was down there and I was looking at it, and I was looking at the artistry of the people who do that kind of environment work. And my favorite place, because of the temperature, the air conditioning, and the total immersiveness, was this place called Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. They have this version of it that is utterly immersive, incredible. And more than anything else, I was in there and I thought, and I'm not, the biggest Harry Potter fan, just because those books would have come out when I was a little bit older. And I saw the movies. My kids, really enjoyed the movies and read the books and all that stuff. But for me, it really hit home to me how important it is to provide people with well-crafted imagination or imaginative experiences, things that lift the human spirit. And that's why I'm doing what I do. That's why I've always done what I do. But it's really cool to step outside of it. And of course, there were a lot of attention paid and honor given to the Universal monsters and all of that kind of thing, which I love. Love that stuff. Our Luniverse, great to see you. Hello, hope you're doing well. Yeah, exactly. No kidding, man. I mean, we went to Florida in August. I'm from Tennessee. I can't be that ridiculous and not know. We knew what we were getting into. But yeah, when we're uninspired, what happens when we're uninspired, when there's not all of that stuff to see. And even if you don't know the world, you appreciate, or I'm not the biggest Harry Potter expert, but you can appreciate the attention to detail. You can appreciate the faux brickwork and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's the stuff that gets me, because I think that we need imagination. We need fiction. It's why do we care so much? You know what I mean? Why do we care so much in Comicsgate for this kind of work? And why do we care so much for, you know, the genres of the imagination of fantasy and science fiction? It's because they're the things, you know, you don't, what is that C.S. Lewis quote? Someone will find it for me. These things are not necessary for survival, but they make it worth surviving. They're the things that, they're not food, they're not sleep, you know, and neither is friendship. But without friendship, and without, you know, having inspiring peers around you, and having inspiring backers and customers and people who are passionate about your work, you can't go on. Will you starve to death? No. Well, you might, depending on if you're doing this for a living, but it's not going to be the thing that breaks you. But there's something about elevating the human spirit, and you can feel this particularly when you go into a beautiful cathedral or something like that. You know the experience if you've ever been to, hopefully it gets sorted out, but Notre Dame Cathedral. These things are so important. And I was already feeling pumped in terms of imagination, because I think there's a lot of great Comicsgate work coming out and comics coming out. I was getting a ton of stuff right before I left. But man, I feel even more so after that trip. You know, and also looking at why we do things. Like for me, my kids and my wife are my why. You know what I mean? That's like why I do all of it. It's amazing, right? Yeah, I mean, it's the stuff that you take to heart, you know? Yeah, it is amazing. You're right, Rock. It is amazing. And, you know, but it's the same thing with the Universal picture stuff. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wait till Epic comes out. Yes, everything I'm seeing looks really, really cool. Yes, indeed. Yes. Joe Frankenstein 3. So, yeah, so when people ask me, I do... And most of the Inglorious Rex trailer, all of those animated frames were done by Von Klaus. There's a link to his sign up for Terror in the Trenches 2. But the reason I do those trailers is because I love this stuff. Thank you, John. I see you got the quote. I'm going to read it in a sec. I love this stuff. So when I see books like Graham Nolan's Joe Frankenstein, you know, and I remember when the day of the stream we launched that book, and then, of course, the closeout of the last, you know, whatever it was, last 30 days. Check out Joe Frankenstein. When I was putting that together, and I'm moving through Anthony Gonzalez-Clark's artwork. Anthony's in the chat. Everybody shout out to Anthony and say hello to him, and let him know if you back Joe Frankenstein 3. The link is in the description. But when I was putting that trailer together, it was just doing those pans and those zooms over his artwork. You really feel a sense of immaculate reality being put in front of you, which is to say an utterly immersive story in comic book storytelling. And that's why when I created Nosfero, and that's true with everything. For those of you guys who are fortunate enough to have gotten Art Book 2, which is now the rarest art book, or rarest book I've made. There's only going to be 10 copies of the all-in tier because of Art Book 2. But if you've ever seen the attention to detail that I put into my work when I'm illustrating, when I'm creating things, it's about creating that immaculate reality. It's about making stuff feel rich and beautiful. And when I sat down to create Nosfero the Crypt Walker, I thought doing a fully painted comic book is absolutely insane, but there is no other way. Gosh, where do I have it? There's no other way to get that richness of detail, and it's the same thing with everything we do that's traditional. So I got to read this quote. I got to catch up. Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it so much, Cranberry Langers. So let me go back to this quote because it's important. Thank you, John, for getting this. Friendship is unnecessary. Like philosophy, like art, it has no survival value. Rather, it is one of those things which give value to survival. There you have it. So when I sat down to create Nosfero, which is a story of a hero, by the way, who survives unbelievably difficult adversity in his youth, but still reaches for faith, never loses his faith, and becomes a warrior for good. He takes the path of the hero. He doesn't take the path of the, victim-victimizer narrative and become a villain. he becomes somebody who is strengthened, because he said, though I went through all of those trials, God was with me. I mean, that's one of the big emphases of this book. And, but it's a world of not only hope and optimism, but it's a world of these vistas of creatures, and you can see the imperfection, which is to say the stuff that brings artwork to life in it. You can see the texture of the paper. You can see that this was made by somebody, handcrafted for you guys. That's why this exists. And you guys funded this. You guys made this happen. And I am so grateful to you guys for that. And so let's be inspired. Let's be excited. Let's bring the noise. And I do have to point out, because it must be pointed out, we have got channel member Shipper Militia in the house celebrating 20 months of membership. Boy, do I love watching you work. Hail to you, brother. Thank you for those 20 months. Thank you for your support, man. Much love. Faith Thomas, congrats, Sean. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I love to paint like this. I love painting, and I love lamp, as you guys know. Yeah, this is the thing about it, it's, yeah, that's definitely one way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, it's about that narrative. Yeah, when great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we are spirits, not animals. Reality feels a lot less stable these days. Yes, and that's the crazy thing about it, because it is not about, it's not about taking a back seat, and it's not about letting it yourself get sucked into all of it. It's something in between. It's something in between. And for me, that is reminding myself that I had no idea I was going to meet all of you fine people when I started this journey with Nosfero. Not a clue. I had no idea how I was going to work out all of the details, how it was going to come together, but I had faith that it was what I was supposed to be doing, and I knew that, as is so often the case, and as has been proven to me in life so many times, that there are things beyond my control that are benevolent too. That are benevolent. It's not all malevolence. There's a lot of benevolence out there that is unplanned, and there have been so many times with you guys and with everybody I've met where you get the sense that you are being helped by hidden hands, and it is overwhelming. And I feel tremendous amount of gratitude and for the imagination of others, without which I wouldn't have had as rich of a life. And I feel as though, because I have this thing I don't understand, this gift from God, at whatever measure that I have it, I feel the need to pay it forward. And you guys help me do that. And I want to fill those pages of my books with things that are going to be a source of beauty and be a grace to your life and not a disgrace. That's what it comes down to, something beautiful. And, yeah, that's what we're after. That's what we're after here. Yeah. It's a weird thing, it's a weird thing. Let me see. Yeah, evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made. Yeah, and J.R.R. Tolkien is another one of those people. Just incredible as an artist and creator. And you just think that came out of one mind, all of that stuff. Yes, he read a lot of things, he researched things, but that's never going to explain it, So who's the guy with the axe? Is that your version of the Headless Horseman? It looks sick. Thank you. It is. It's without the horse. But it's this character that I've been calling the Headless Woodsman, but I came up with another name for him the other night, which is why I wanted to kind of share the creative process with you guys. But this is an idea for a story that I've been playing around with for a while. I think it'll be in the Nosfero universe, and it's something I'll just chip away at, but I wanted to kind of share that process. But yes, I love The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I think Washington Irving, think of all the imagination we're talking about right now that's come out. It's amazing. Walls and ladders, sometimes ladders. When things align with the benevolent forces, they seem to flow. You're absolutely right. Amen, Simply Green. Fopeasy saying, Shanth, I asked last time if you'd ever do interiors for, that's right, for anyone again. You said it would take too long, but would you do a comic style pencil and ink for someone ever again, not full paintings? I honestly don't know. It depends on the person. It depends on who I would be doing it for. So yeah, I'm just trying to think, if it was, Yeah, if it was a short story, if it was that kind of thing, I mean, it's the tricky thing about it is, if I did that, it would be for the relationship that I have with the person I would be doing it for, the collaborator. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's gotta be, because I've had conversations with people about this before. I've had actually the person, yeah, I don't want to, but a fellow creator and a really amazing guy. I had a conversation with him about that kind of thing, and if something works out, I'd do it in that case. So yeah, I mean, the door is not closed on it by any means, but like I said, there's when something's meant to happen, I work hard, I move in a direction, but sometimes serendipity or something comes along and you just know you're supposed to do it, and if that presents itself, I'm not one to resist it. Let's see here. Oh, wait, do the Sakura Jelly Roll pens work well over acrylics? Not really, but when I'm doing this, I just go nuts. I kind of go crazy with it, so that's the way it is. Yeah, placeholder names, 100%. Yep, absolutely right. You guys get what I'm talking about, Yeah, gratitude is imperative. The lack thereof is the heart of all negativity we endure in the world and right here in and around CG. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is his name Bernie the Woodsman? It could be. You never know. Well, sure. I mean, it's so funny. Yeah, Frank, the Headless Woodsman. That would be awesome, actually. I recently took let me see here. I can't read very well. Sorry. I recently took art history. I looked at many videos on the making of old churches, yes, and cathedrals, and man, I get intimidated by the amount, how much work was put into, but sad that there is not that level anymore. Yeah, I mean, so Curialt, how are you doing, my friend? It is great to see you. Shoot, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry, it jumped for me for a second. It's great to see you in the house, my friend. So yeah, here's what I'd say. As far as, gosh, let me see where I was. I just lost my train of thought. Grazie, blah, blah. Any of those make those pockets of worthwhile entropy? Yes, it's bad. Headless Horseman, gosh, what were we talking about? Oh yes, heart of negativity, yes, and lack of gratitude. Yeah. So I was thinking about that. When I was on the trip, and the lack of gratitude and all of that kind of thing. And people always try to find a metric for what causes that. I'm not sure that I have any particular answers to what causes the lack of gratitude, and like a lack of gratitude period. But what I have often found is that one of the things that definitely can contribute to it and can definitely lead to it being a problem is, how do I put it, is being overly protected from criticism and from seeing yourself try and fail at things. And also, really, the biggest thing is being raised or taught or in a culture where you're being taught, so on many different fronts, that if you don't have and experience the success that you think you are entitled to, which is always the highest amount of success possible, is what I found, then it has to be a conspiracy. There has to be something wrong. It has to be because the system is not fair. And by the way, I'm not saying the system is fair, and I'm not saying it's not fair. I'm saying that when you take yourself and you imagine yourself as a passenger in your own life and someone else is driving the success, the problem is, on several fronts, is that you lose your agency, which, to be honest, you don't really want, because then you'd have to take responsibility. But it also leads to you not being able to see and appreciate the opportunities you have around you. And while it might seem crazy from the outside, why would somebody be unhappy when they've been given so many opportunities? I don't think an abundance of opportunity creates appreciation and gratitude. It doesn't. I don't think, frankly, a lack of opportunity and a lack of and deprivation always creates appreciation. That's the creepier aspect of it. And I think that the biggest mistakes that you can make sometimes are finding yourself around somebody who is very appreciative, very generous, and values the generosity they've received, thus is paying it forward, and throw it in their face and say, no. It's weird. and I hate to I hate to use this particular example, but I'll get to it in a second. Ferris Comics channel member, how are you doing, my friend? God bless you, and thank you for all of your support. So I will just speak in generalities. When my kids were younger, I was out at a pizza restaurant with another person's kids, and we were out getting pizza, and they ran out of pizza, and with their mouth full of food, okay, with their mouth filled with the last pizza they've eaten still, they hadn't even chewed and swallowed their pizza, the kid shoved their hand out at me like this, and one word, all they said was, more. They shoved their plate at me in their hand. And I looked at them. I was like, wow. And I said, I'm sorry? Would you like another piece of pizza, please? But that really stuck into my mind. Like, it was really something that resonated with me. That if you break down what you see in a lot of adults, and guys, just to be super clear about this, because I can't mince words on this, when you're even younger than this in some instances, but I think we can all agree, when you were 18 and older, there's certain lessons that if you haven't learned them, you've got to stop, drop, and roll. I can't deal with calling people in their mid-20s and 30s young. I'm sorry. Like, you are young when you're in your 20s, maybe, but I was also a dad in my 20s. But I don't 30s, come on, guys. Like, let's be real. Does anyone want to be thought of as a kid and like, oh, I've just got so much to learn? If I'm with an adult and they do a version of more at me, I'm like, no. Grow up. Get something for yourself. Offer me something. Like, what are you doing? It's craziness. And so, yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but it's been on my mind a lot. Because I've been in Comicsgate long enough to watch so many cycles of people doing that. And when you've been here for a while, look at it this way. When you've been in Comicsgate for a while, you've had plenty of opportunity to show your ingratitude. It doesn't mean that you've proven your gratitude, but you haven't proven your ingratitude yet, is what I would say. And that's, at the very least, I think that's important. Like, I remember saying to somebody, God, hashtag more. I'm serious. That should absolutely be a hashtag, a disgraceful hashtag. Yep, the average person in the military is 18 to 21. I refuse to call them a kid. You're damn right. It's a thank you is what goes there. Yeah, this is getting real. Yeah, it is getting real. Yep. Yeah, couple words I've got for that. Yep, 100%. Yeah. How we laugh out loud, how we feel about Shanth and Rocky streams. More, well, that's different. That's different. Yeah. But it's a very strange thing. You know, at Shanth Enjeti Art, at the age of 11, I was diagnosed with 2 disabilities. There you go, autism and Asperger's syndrome, which made socialization hard. Oh, shoot, it jumped. No, I'm waiting now. writing 3 generational. God, I can't read. I'm writing 3 generational comics about my dad, sister, and grandma. There you go. Yep, the dude. Yeah, you go in a kid, come out a man most of the time. Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. The dude, oh my gosh, gifted memberships. Who gifted member? Oh, of course. Well. If it isn't the usual suspect, my brother from Vatgulati. It is great to see you. I hope you are doing well. And thank you. My God, you gifted 20 memberships. You know, there's not a lot to do or say in a situation like that when that happens. These guys are amazing. They're operating on a different level, and I have so much gratitude for your support. So let me share this with you. Charge! I mean, and to drive the point home, you know. Charge! Hail, brother! It is great to see you. I want to apologize. Look at all these new members we have now. Mike likes tacos. The dude. Look at that, man. Amazing stuff. MD Houghton is saying, yeah, I got it. There you go. Gifted a membership. You are the man. Thank you so much. Sleeping Psychopathy. Rock Corinne in the house has got it. Beach Betty has got it. My gosh, look at all you folks. Gosh, I can never pronounce this. Mechanoid. Mechanoid. I can never get that right. Bretsky the Great was gifted a membership. Michael Bancroft was gifted a membership. Tim Smith was gifted a membership. Look at all you fine people getting your memberships. But, you know, it's an amazing thing, man. And I do appreciate it very much, guys. And this is another example of the unexpected, you know, after... I can't... Anthony, behave. Behave. It is great to see you, brother. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? It's 2 a.m. here. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I remember those days. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, those trips. It was, yeah. That's the weird... For me, that's the toughest jet lag that I think I've had. Was India was always tough. I don't know if you're in India, but it was... that was a tough one. I remember we would fly in... We'd always fly in, I think, Frankfurt to Delhi, and then we would do Delhi to Hyderabad. So I always remember that, and it was just, you know, the heat would hit you, and it was craziness. But I think the amount of sun and heat either makes the jet lag more difficult or better, but I'm not sure which one, but it always hit. It always hit really, really hard, man. You know, yeah, indeed, man. Hail, 100%. But yeah, I don't know where... the gratitude thing, I think the gratitude thing is something you have to have when you're young. I think it ties into having moments of grace pointed out to you, which are, you know, all those moments where, much like the channel memberships, where you receive something good that you didn't actively go out and seek. It's just an act of benevolence. It's an act of support, and it's something that makes the world brighter. And I think about all of those things that I have in my life. What is up, Tammy? I am getting your stuff ready to go, by the way, just so you know. And it's great to see you, channel member. We got Katie in the house. It's great to see you, Katie. I hope you are doing very well. You know, yeah, it's wild. I've heard it's wild. I've been keeping tabs. Yeah. It's a crazy thing because, and that's another aspect of gratitude. That's another aspect of gratitude that I don't know that I see it the most. It's weird to think about, but you know, if you count your blessings every single day, and if you look around and you say, wow, look at all of these different ways in which I'm fortunate, it just makes for a better day. And, you know, my mentors, I remember very, very clearly, and I saw this in the Spielberg movie, The Fableman. And I loved this, which was when you're young, when you're older, things get a little bit different, you know, in terms of things. You know, you kind of got your stuff figured out, and you need more specific information. But when you're starting out and you're young, it shows Spielberg young in that. Somebody like Brian Stelfree's coming along and tearing you like a new one lovingly, and then having the reflex, which is so important, having the reflex when you are young and you haven't spent, you know, a lot of time at a particular craft, or you're not particularly skilled, and saying thank you when someone takes the time to criticize you. You know what I mean? Hey, Creative Faye, it's great to see you, and thank you so much, man. You know, and yeah, I was always appreciative of that because I knew there were a lot of things I didn't know. It's easy to overlook the little things, just having these shows here, streaming, to hang around in the crowd. These things I appreciate, yes. And so that's something I wanted to get to as well today. You know, although I don't really have a particular strategy for these things, I just kind of go, I need to go and spend time with my people. Gotta spend time with my friends, and I gotta, you know, hang out and get people, you know, to get psyched and get everybody pumped up as I'm pumped up, and share it with you guys for Nosfero, you know, Second Chance campaign, and the art edition. But I was thinking about this, and I said this to my wife, because again, I haven't taken a vacation in 8 years where I've really kind of, you know, decompressed. And I said to her, I went, I'm able to broadcast and share my artwork in a higher resolution than Bob Ross with the world. I'm able to meet people and meet backers. They're the inverse of customers, because they help you financially before. They mitigate the risk before the book comes out. You can interact with your fans without taking a plane, shipping all of your gear, your backdrops, all of that stuff, which is so cost prohibitive. You can go right to the audience. I didn't build any of this stuff. I'm just fortunate that it exists. And if I get a shot at putting my stuff out there, and I get a shot at seeing you guys, and the reaction is, no, I don't really like it, I'm not that into it. I had a chance, though. And that's more than there's ever been in history, and that's more than I've certainly seen in history. You know, I mean, it was just so much harder before to get your stuff out there. And I've met artists who I admire and friends I admire in terms of their work that have added to the folks like Rocky, and I count my blessings as far as that stuff goes every single day. But that's stuff that I can't overstate how much I appreciate it. You know, I can't overstate that. And, you know, it's weird because that technology has made so much possible. Like, even, again, when I was going through the amusement parks, which for me is art and technology taken to its furthest possibility, because you're letting people step into things. The amount of craftsmanship, there's 2-dimensional craftsmanship, 3-dimensional craftsmanship, audio craftsmanship, all of these different aspects that are brought to bear. It's more than cinema, actually, because you're in that space. So it's got a physical reality to it. All of that stuff that I see, it amazes me, technology-wise. And it's so cool and it's incredible. And so when I'm going and I'm looking at my thumbnails and I'm making things like that, I'm always grateful for it. Like, think about somebody like Art Bell, who I listen to all the time. He's amazing. Yes, indeed. My glass is always half full, never half empty, simply. Amen. Agreed. Amen to this, Rock. Yeah. Yeah, man. You know, it's a couple days before I take my son and down to college to pursue his dreams and to pursue his adventures, and obviously I wish I could be here, you know, just to drop my daughter off at the same time. But when you have twins, you got to split those things. And you know, that, oh geez, you're killing me, man. Don't do it. Stop. But I think about that all the time, man. If there's something I want for my kids, dude, I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. If there's something I want for my kids, I want my kids to meet somebody like you when they're in school. I want them to meet somebody like Lauren. You guys are the best things I got out of college, man. So, God bless you. God bless you. I appreciate you, man. That gets me, dude. But yeah, I mean, I look at my kids. All I need to do is you know, look at family and look at friends and look at all that kind of stuff. Fuck you. Oh, jeez. You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it back. Thank you for bringing it back, brother. I appreciate it. Oh, dude. You're killing me, man. But you know how it is. No, we're not doing that today. We're not doing that. I got a weekend to get through, man. I got a weekend to get through. And then I got to launch this book on the 20th, you know? But we benefit so much from strangers in this world. And strangers across time, people like Mary Shelley, who I've been doing exhaustive research in preparation for this short form, but maybe 45-minute documentary that I want to write and create. I'm going to start creating documentaries because it's important to me. That teacher part of me is very much there, very much alive, and I need to make that happen, you know. But it's yes, Spuds. Let me tell you something, folks. Tater's going to tate. That's the way it is. Yep. Hard to say the best thing that has come out of college so far. Yep. Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild journey. It's a wild experience. Yeah, you guys know s'more. Yeah, I do like the idea of s'mores. But it's yeah, I mean, it's a wild thing to kind of, you know, think about the fact that, you know, when I'm reading Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, when I'm looking at Carl Laemmle Sr. creating Universal Pictures and that leading to Universal Studios and all of the monsters. Amen, sleeping psychopathy. You know it's true. You know it's true. Back Inglorious Rex, man. Yep. Deep Thoughts with, love it. Yep. I always loved that one. Speaking of, for the occasion, Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy. It takes a big man to cry, but an even bigger man to laugh at that man. You gotta love it, man. But I was looking at the amazing work. Oh, you know what was awesome? When I was down at Universal Studios, I went through the big store that's at the front of the Studios Park. There's the Islands of Adventure in the Studios Park. And inside that studio, they had on the wall a photograph of the legendary Jack Pierce, who created the Boris Karloff Frankenstein makeup, the Wolfman makeup, on the wall in the store big. And I thought, society is doing something right in that space if we're still making sure to remember and to acknowledge the creative folks who made so much of this possible. And that's the biggest thing, is that I always think about the stuff I didn't make but I benefit from, and one of them is my certain inalienable rights that I'm endowed with by the Creator, and the men and women who have fought for me to live in a country where those rights are protected, where those rights are espoused and understood. And what I said right there, I could, of course, recite from memory, because that's where it came from, is from the ending pages of Nosfero the Crypt Walker. That's one of the things I wrote on the last page, or second to last page of it, my final thoughts there. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, skills are everything. Skills are huge, because you need those skills. Someone say, Inglorious Rex, I got a book on that too. Yes, you do. Yeah, man, you're going everywhere, dude. I saw your work. Because I saw some of the pages. I think Shane, I'm trying to think if Shane showed them to me. Could have just been on stream, but I'm wondering, because he showed me the animated trailer before that thing dropped. He was kind enough to do that after a stream, and I think he was showing me some of your pages, and I remember seeing those, and I went, man, the action stuff you do is fantastic. Lean into that action. Let the action drive the stuff, and your work just sings. You know, I mean, to me, when I think of stories that that kind of sum up how I feel about what your storytelling lends itself to, weirdly, and let me know if this makes any sense. I think of films like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, things that just go. You know, things that just go and you race to the end. And they've got that really amazing, you know, propulsion going behind them, because your stuff has so much action in it. You know what I mean? And I love that. I mean, action in terms of the vibe of it. Thanks, Mark's Music Obsession. Another reason why I left Ohio for Florida. There you go. Get that warmth. I think more people need to understand why we protected those rights. Exactly. And that's why this was not planned, of course, as you know. But I think it's more important that people read these two documents. You know what I mean? Actually, I just forgot where I was. It's important that people read these two documents. And it's important that people understand them, because outside of the romantic linguistics that are in there, there is a lot of practicality in there. And a lot of things that tell you what the things we were told to look out for and worry about. And, you know, this is a document that people should look at, and it will inform your life in very important ways. It'll help you to appreciate the freedoms you have to create and to lean into those things. You know, and that's what I love, you know. Resubbed, indeed, Past Master Dan. There's no boobies in this scene. What the heck, Sean? Don't worry, it's getting there. Well, there are down here. There are down here. So I'm still taking care of my people, you know. Don't worry. I've got Stephen Rockwood and everybody else covered. Let me see here. Yeah, everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Well, listen, man, you know. Yeah. Like I said, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, just to speak to that too. I have no trouble. Like, here's the thing about it. My kindness is there, and it's very important, but I always try to say what I really think about stuff and what I think about work. I'm always going to lean towards the positive. I'm always going to lean towards that stuff, but I go looking for the things I like about things as much as I can. And I don't give any quarter, as you know would know from the give nihilism no quarter thing I say, to the things that I don't like when they confront those things. And so when I say stuff about work and creators' work, it's always from the heart. It's the stuff I like. You know, it's the stuff I'm passionate about, man. So you're very welcome. Let me see here. Shanth, I think They sell those in bigger print too. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I need those in bigger print, let me tell you. But I like to have it where I can get to it. You know, I like to have it. Yep, self-evident indeed, man, indeed. Yeah, I consider myself more American than Kiwi at this point. Yeah, well, there you go, right there, man. But love to the Kiwis, and we love the Kiwi Lord of the Rings films, don't we? You know, it's yeah, I mean, it's weird when I sat down to do Nosfero the Crypt Walker. It's an exercise in that, you know, it's an exercise in liberty. It's an exercise in freedom, because I wanted to show there's a lot of things that may seem at cross purposes in Nosfero, but they're all there because they're things that I think are important to explore in art. Now I'm switching from acrylic to gouache, just in case anybody's wondering. It's weird how I work some days, but I'm just feeling like we had a conversation. I think it was Aaron Lopresti who started it off. I didn't know he was going to do a Headless Horseman story for the next Wraith of God. I think Shane mentioned having an idea for that, and I've long had an idea for that too. In fact, Headless Horseman is in my second art book, and I was just blown away. You know, I was just blown away by the fact that so many people have love for the Washington, you know, Irving story of the Headless Horseman. And it's, now that, guys, that is an American fairy tale. If you haven't listened to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which concerns a lot more than the Headless Horseman, of course, but it's a absolutely fantastically wry book about New England and all of these things. It's got so much humor in it, and it's just a great book. But it captures something about America and this region. You know what I mean? The Hudson River Valley and the, you know, all of that stuff, and I love that aspect of it. It's a great book. I have a hard copy of it with the Arthur Rackham illustrations right over there. I've got that book, I've got the Bible, I've got the Complete Shakespeare, I've got Dracula, I've got A Christmas Carol, and I think another one over there, but I just can't see it. But yeah, all of the books that are important to me, I try to keep around, you know, and that's big. We will continue to be your sole source of truth. There you go. Jacinda Ardern, sorry, my God. Yeah, those are the things that you have happen and you hear, and you just kind of go, huh. Aaron has cover sketches for Fear Hollow. Really? Ooh, I got to see those, man. Yep. Amen. Oops, I missed something. Has a good question. Shoot, I got to go back. Where were we? Has a good question. Where did it go? Dang, way back there. Where is it? How did I miss this? I must have missed... Oh, there we go. No. Okay, wait. Shoot, I missed it. Hold on a second. Maybe re-ask, because I'm having trouble finding it, but let me look. Not there. Oh, what are your favorite types of art styles? Got it. Just found it. So my favorite type of art style is by Czechoslovakian, or I guess Czech. I don't know if it was Czechoslovakia at that point. Artist Alphonse Mucha, and it's Art Nouveau. That's my favorite. So it lends itself to myth and fantasy and fairy tale, but it also lends itself quite nicely to you know, the religious aspect of things, divine sort of work. That's my favorite stuff. After that, it's a lot of pulp artists and pulp stories. So my favorite fiction that I've been listening to the audiobooks of and love is Solomon Kane. That's my favorite. Robert E. Howard. It is so different than Conan. Conan is amazing. I love it, but it never really spoke to me. I am aware that it's amazing, and I'm aware that it's great, but there's something about Solomon Kane that just captures me, and it captivates me. So that's the stuff in terms of fiction. But in terms of art, I love Art Nouveau. I love the golden age of American illustration. I love all of that kind of stuff, and fantasy stuff as well. Yes, absolutely it does. Yeah, I mean, that stuff goes back. Yeah, my favorite art style is done. Amen. That's totally true. If anything, I feel insulted oftentimes these days by incompetent evil leaders. Can't they at least be competent? Well, this is the crazy thing about all of this stuff. Yeah, Art Nouveau is amazing. Yeah, the Alphonse Mucha is the artist to check out. Alphonse Mucha's stuff, you've seen his stuff before, but he's the end all be all for me of Art Nouveau. Like, he's the guy. Like, he's what he is to Art Nouveau, Michelangelo was to the Renaissance. You know, so his Sarah Bernhardt posters, which you guys all probably know very well, all of this stuff, but his paintings are equally good. So when you see his work on his illustrated Our Father, Le Pater, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. So yeah, I love his work. He's a legit genius, and his stuff informs me a lot when I draw. Yeah, absolutely right. Century Guilds, yeah, that is the greatest book ever. Yep, and that stuff all influenced by his work. All influenced by his work. It's kind of incredible. And really, I mean, if you look at Nosfero, Nosfero is absolutely inspired by Art Nouveau. He's my biggest influence. I'm influenced by people like Frank Frazetta. I'm influenced by a lot of artists, but Alphonse Mucha is such an enormous influence on me. I forget to mention him sometimes. Like, for a while, not as much now, because it's so foundational to how I draw figures and how I think about things. More importantly, is to have an artist like that to look to is gold. So yeah, so this is a little sequence here that I've been working on for a while for this story. Don't know what it's going to be, but we'll see where it goes. Is that I had this idea for, it's almost a Headless Horseman Green Knight story. And my sort of Headless Horseman is actually a noble guy. He's not a villain. He's a hero in my version, and he's a hero in the sense that, you know, again, there's elements of the Green Knight in here, but it's a very human story. And because I love Gothic romance, it's a romance story between these two. And the way that I imagined it at first was that Nosfero was going to, as he often does, he was going to come into this story, and he was going to come into this story, and he was going to sort of be our sort of Dorothy and Oz character, if that makes sense in it. But I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it. But if I have an idea and that I'm working on, and all of a sudden I'm sort of visited by the muse, particularly when I've been grinding on, getting the Indiegogo stuff ready all day and all night, I always think, you know what, I better work on this. I better make note of this so that I have it, and maybe I'll come back to it with even better ideas. But I want to make sure I get these ideas down. So this is him. He has this cross, this crucifix that he wore around his neck before he was beheaded, and turned into this sort of supernatural character. And he has given it to her, and this character's name is Holly Gellhorn, and Gellhorn is the last name of the Collinson twins characters in Twins of Evil, and Holly, of course, is a little bit of a reference to Hollow and Sleepy Hollow. And he gives her this cross to wear because he can't wear it anymore around his neck. And this right here is her sewing onto the chest of his shirt, his cloak, his vest, a cross, so that he has it still. He has that particular protection. So, and that source of strength for him. And so I just thought there was something beautiful about that. Because I like craftsmanship, and I'm a big fan of, my wife is knits, and my daughter crochets. So I'm always a big fan of I can't understand that stuff for the life of me. I mean, it's amazing. It's like magic to me. That stuff is incredible. And they both do it exceedingly well. They're fast at it, and there's something to me that's very beautiful about making clothes for people. There's a lot of hospitals and NICUs, which Tammy may know about this from all of her work as a nurse. But there's a thing that they do where people can donate hand knitted stuff for newborns. So if you can knit or crochet, you can make those little hats for kids who are premature or newborns, and you're gifted with a hand knit hat, with your kid. And it's just a nice thing communities do sometimes. It's wild to me. Knitters. Yep. You know it, Past Master. You know it. Yeah, it's craziness. Charcoal mines. Yep, 100%. You gotta lurk sometimes. How zealous is Nosfero? That's a really good question. Really good question. Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah. How do I word it? Nosfero is not passionate, if that makes sense. He's not driven by his passion. He's a passionate person, but his actions aren't driven by passion. His actions are much more driven by honor and nobility. And so when he is on the odd occasion, you know, in the books every now and again, he has a moment like that. His faith is what lifts him up. It's not something. It's sort of like he's a still waters run deep kind of guy with his faith, and that's the way I would say it. He's not a zealot in that sense, which is wild. I never thought about. You guys ask the best questions. Yeah, I love that. Tammy, for $5. My God, I've got to get to the super chat. So I don't know what maybe I'll try to do one tomorrow. I might try to do one tomorrow. I'll see how it goes. But I got to get ready for this trip to drop my son off at school, but I want to do one. So maybe I'll shoot for tomorrow. I don't know if I can do one on Thursday night, but I really want to get back into that. It's just I've been out of town and we've been moving. But yeah, we should do a movie this week. We should do a Pizza Live. That's a good question. That's a very, very good question. And of course, because it was accompanied by Super Chat, why is it jumping around on me? I don't understand what is going on here. Where is it? I got to get back to it. Hang on a second. Is there a movie this week? I saw it. Wanted to click on it. Tammy. There it is. Is there a movie this week? Yes, there will be a movie this week. We're going to figure this out. That's a promise. That's a promise. And since you sent a Super Chat, let me send this your way. Charge! With a little bit of this. Charge! We cheer you. We cheer you, Tammy. That's the way it is. Yeah, I am rusty on streaming now. Oh, guys, I love... Yeah, Pizza Live has got to happen. I love pizza so much, guys. I'm going to tell you something. Guys. I'm going to let you in on this. So I was at Universal. I was walking around. Yeah, maybe it will. Actually, a really good thought, Tammy. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your super chat. Thank you. But it was late at night. Everything was closed, but there was 24-hour room service where we were staying, and I ordered a pepperoni pizza, and oh my God, it was so good. This pizza was spectacular, and it just reminds me over and over again how much I love pizza. Born in Italy, perfected in America as far as I'm concerned. But the pizza is an incredible, incredible thing. And Pizza Live puts a smile on my face. It's funny. Pizza and waffles have to be two of the greatest American comfort foods. The American version of waffles and the American version of pizza. Both, and this is shocking, both pair incredibly well with bacon. And bacon is also sublime. So ponder that. And then Shanth realized he was that kid that was stuffing his mouth and saying more. Yeah, it was a mirror. Rock, it was a mirror. It wasn't anything but a mirror. You know, it was terrifying. Yeah, end scene. Yes, absolutely right. I just found the best New York style pizzeria here in Huntsville. Oh, nice. Yeah, I got people in Huntsville, man. Huntsville, yeah. I've been to Huntsville, a few times. I think I was mentioning that to Bandy when we were talking about Space Camp, but my wife and her brother went to Space Camp in Huntsville. But yeah, Huntsville's got some good eating. Got some very good eating. Yeah, right on. Shout out to Huntsville, man. Much love. Yeah, that was where my wife's aunt and uncle lived for many years, and they were some of the first family I met. And we visited them and visited their family there. And yeah, lots of happy memories of that trip. They took us out to eat and were talking to us all about, all of the incredible space program stuff that goes on there. So yeah, I had a great time down there. Lots of great places to eat. And I love pizza, man. Pizza's the best. Pizza's awesome. Pizza brings people together. Somehow food always makes it in the conversation. You know it's true with us. Yerps. Not too shabby, yes indeed. Foils him again, Shanth, youthful facefuls. You're cracking me up, dude. Yep, Hunts Vegas. You know, dude. You know. Rock is from Huntsville. Listen, when we're talking about the craziness of being helped by hidden hands and feeling like things are connected, Rocky went to the same high school as my wife's cousin, whose parents I was just telling you about visiting. It's scary, man. It's scary how much of this stuff comes together. But yeah, there's a lot of roads and paths in my life that have gone through Huntsville. So yeah, my wife included, and her family included. Just wild. God, that is a trip, man. I was on a stream with Mandy at some point, and she said, I went to space camp, and I said, I bet you went to space camp. And I thought for a minute, I just realized, oh, that probably sounds like I went, yeah, you didn't go to space camp. But what I was actually saying is, yeah, if you're from that area, I bet you went to space camp in Huntsville. And she had no idea that, that my wife had gone to space camp in Huntsville, Alabama, man. But that's how, I'm telling you guys, the world is small and insane, right? See? I told you, man. You knew Erin when she was in high school down there. So, yeah, craziness, man. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, that stuff will just really blow your mind. Like, how many of those things just seem like, well, if you guys hadn't have met this way, we'd have found a way to make you meet this way. Like, that's when I feel like the universe is trying to let me know that when there's a plan, God has a plan. And it's better than our plans, and it's bigger than our plans. And my attitude with this stuff is, I heard this quote from Chris Voss, and I thought it was kind of amazing. And it's not how I typically think, but I'll share it with you guys in case it's something you haven't heard, and it gets you to think about things a little bit differently. And the quote was, don't be so sure of what you want that you wouldn't settle for something better. And when it comes to my kids, when it comes to my wife, when it comes to my artwork and my friendships, as imaginative as I am, I never could have imagined the unique nature, the signature nature of the folks that I've met and experiences that I've had. And Comicsgate's one of those experiences, and the folks that I've met in Comicsgate are an example of that. It almost makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up when you realize things like, oh, Dan Lawless and I at one point in our lives were in the same neighborhood in Michigan. It's incredible. Really incredible. Yep. Yeah. That's right. It's not like it's rocket science. Didn't really work well in Huntsville. You're absolutely right. Doesn't. Yeah. Man makes his plans, but God directs his steps. Bible-ish. Yep. 100%. Yep. Cran version. Well done, Cranberry Landers. Agreed. Let me see here. What is the difference between any old pen and brush and one held and used by a great artist? How do we quantify that difference? Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transferred. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I like that. Yeah, you guys are always, seriously, you gotta be on your A game in this space, man. It's a trip. You guys are always coming at, things from an angle I wouldn't have thought of. And I think that's what makes for the best conversations. When I was going into Universal Studios with my family, I felt this kind of piece that somebody else's imagination was directing the experience. I got to go on a ride. The thing about doing anything creative for a living is that it's still your work and it's a discipline. And it doesn't, if you like that kind of stuff, sometimes you want to see a type of art form like theme park design that isn't what you do because you don't associate it with work. When I turn on YouTube, I think of work. I think, oh, should I be streaming? Should I be doing this? It's a great thing to get to enjoy YouTube as just as an escape from your job. And I love doing it, and I love having these conversations with you guys. But I think it's really good sometimes to get out of your state, get out of your head, get out of what you regularly know. Ray Haylock, what's up, my friend? It's great to see you. I hope you are doing well. Hail, my friend, hail. Yeah, probably be sacrilege, says Cranberry Landers. Yeah, there you go. Green will bring the A game. I will make sure to even it out with the team. You guys are killing me, dude. Yeah, part of what makes us unique is differing opinions. Absolutely right. Yep. Excuse me, goodness. Now apply it to every day. Is there a difference between an infant's blanket bought off a store shelf versus one knitted by a family member? You have it. You have it right there. Look at the love. Look at the love. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing about all that stuff. And I thought about this a lot. That I've definitely thought about. Is there a difference between a comic book, and I'm not even knocking the comic book shops, or how about this, a book you order from Amazon, right? a book you order from Amazon versus a book that you receive from SHANTH ENJETI Art, where I illustrated it, took the print, bagged and boarded it, put the trading cards or the postcards and the prints in there, boxed it, and then shipped it from me to you. I think there is. Every time I get a book from a Comicsgate campaign, I'm very acutely aware of that, and it means something different to me because I know how expensive it is to make these books. I know how much we depend on backers. I know how much we depend on you guys to be, here with us and having our back, when we put ourselves out there to create. And it means something completely different to me. It just does. And it's a powerful thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a powerful thing, man. And I guess that's the thing that's still really humbling about, it's always going to be humbling, but is really affecting about the stuff that I'm doing here is that, I have these stories, and I don't know what makes people want to paint or draw or illustrate stories. I just don't think it's worth even looking into why we do it. I think it's a need, like sports or anything else. You just have to do it because you can't rationalize it. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's something that you feel compelled to do. It's somebody else's plan, and it's a wild thing because I've been looking for the backers, in the Comicsgate audience my entire life, man. I've been looking for where are the folks who care about this stuff, and I don't know why I kept doing it. In a sense, like other than the fact that I just had to, it must have been something I had to do. But it has been a long road to get here, but it all seems like this is exactly how it was meant to go. It's the same thing with my kids. It's the same thing with my marriage. It's the same thing with the stories I write. When I was on vacation, I brought two things with me. I brought a sketch, as far as art goes. I brought a sketchbook and I brought a copy of Nosfero, which may seem odd, but I just wanted to have it with me because I just wanted to be able to look at it while I was on vacation. And as I was looking at it, I kept reading little, snippets of the book, and it was almost like, where did this come from? It was stuff I always wanted to say, work I always wanted to create so that I could share it, and the audience showed up, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's incredible, man. It's an incredible thing. I don't ever take it for granted. I don't ever, and that's where the appreciation comes from, With books you back, you feel a part of it 100%. You guys are. Let me just make sure I've stated that. Absolutely. Part of the process. So when you eventually receive the book, it's more of a personal experience than just the grabbing one off the shelf, etc. So yeah, when I'm, year 2 into Nosfero, working on these pages, the thought of my backers and the fact that people had that faith in me strengthens my faith in the work. It's really, I can't overstate it. The folks who are like, it's so hard to describe because there's a financial aspect of it which is completely necessary because, it's you got to be able to live. You got to be able to live, and every bit is important. But there's something that I don't know if I've ever articulated it very well. I always try. That is the folks who are there knowing that people said, I believe in this dream, that I want this book to happen. This isn't a pre-order. This is I'm funding the making of this book. The book is a perk. That is a level of trust. And trust doesn't do it because trust seems so transactional, you know what I mean? That is inspiring to me. That is inspiring to me because that's how I go into things. That's how I go into things. I go into things from the standpoint of, whether fatherhood is a really good example, but I'm not in this because I think it's going to fail. I want my kids to know that I believe in them and I have faith in them. I know God has a plan for them, Like, I need that to happen. And I need you guys to know that I believe in Nosfero, that I care about this story, that all of this stuff is important. And when you guys say, we believe in it too, you can do this, man. You can do it. When you guys say that, it is huge, man. It's bigger than just the money. It's like when I'm putting your copies together by hand, it's great. Aviator Surge, it's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Hail. Yeah. Yeah, but think about it this way. Think about it this way, because I've thought about this a lot. This is going to sound odd, and it's not just to be, contrarian or anything like that. To me, belief is almost too strong, right? Because I think that what I mean by that is that think about it in this term, and I never forget this affected me and how well that translates across life, right? So you go into a fight, and you have belief in your training, belief in your conditioning, but at a certain point you have to have something bigger than that. I remember when I was watching Return of the Jedi, and Luke says to the Emperor, "Your overconfidence is your weakness," and the Emperor shoots back and says, "Your faith in your friends is yours." And that's one of the more, I remember it was a very affecting aspect of faith that I had never thought of. I was, of course, very young, but that's always stuck with me. And I don't think that my faith in my backers and my backers' faith in me to do the work is about hubris. It's about something bigger than that. It's about a connection that happens. And yeah, man, I mean, it's wild. You guys are on it today, man. It's like I take a little bit of time off of streaming, and you guys, all become Mensa members. It's wild, Yes, it is. It simply green. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm talking about. Yep. Just need to know the start time on the 20th. Will die if I miss one of the 10. Don't worry. I'm gonna make sure I blast it out everywhere. I'm still firming that up, but I promise I will. Yes, and driving but listening. We'll drive safe, Mark. Drive safe, Mark. But yeah, I mean, it's how do I put this? When I was reading comic books, right? And I'm still reading comics, but I mean, when I was a kid reading comic books, there were certain things that when I became fans of artists or fans of creators like, Todd McFarlane or folks like that, I always knew that they were going to deliver me something that I didn't know what it was going to be, because I didn't want the same drawings that I'd already seen them do, but they were going to deliver something to me that was new, but that it was going to be excellent and I was going to enjoy it, or that it was going to be worth the purchase. And I don't know how to really describe that, but they talk about that a lot times where they say that, if you've got that kind of connection, here's another way of putting it: goodwill. People say when you have the audience's goodwill, it's one of the most valuable things. And I think that, I think about that with you guys. You guys have built up a lot of goodwill with me, and hopefully I've done the same. Yeah. There we go. I just love doing things like that. I love putting stuff like this together. It's so fun, man. Mark's music obsession is more. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. You guys are a riot, man. You guys are a riot. Yep. God bless you all. Yep. Just chipping away and working on all of this stuff. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys all of the exciting things that are going to be happening in SHANTH ENJETI art, and that are going to be happening in Nosfero with the Second Chance campaign. I'm working on, there's going to be a new piece of artwork in the second edition, because I want you guys to get something new and exciting with I always think of it as not a second printing, because it's not the same book repeated. It's a second edition. It's going to have a little bit of different stuff in it, actually, because I like that idea. I like that idea of making it something, because for me, it's not worth doing if it's just a repeat of the exact same thing, and in terms of material. And but there's so much exciting stuff to happen. I mean, I'm getting so pumped about Halloween, and I'm getting so pumped about the spooky season that we have up here in New England, and I don't know. I feel like I got a massive shot of adrenaline and inspiration when I went on that trip, and also from my fellow creators, man. I'm excited about Inglorious Rex 3. I'm excited about Joe Frankenstein 3 and 2 and 1 for that matter. I'm excited about Godlike 2. I'm excited about Fearsome, big time. I'm really excited about that. So tons of cool stuff coming, yeah. Wicked Smart Apples, 100%. You guys are wicked smart. Spooky season mentioned, you know it. Yeah, I mean, Spirit Halloween is already cranking, guys. It's on. Yes, that's exactly right. Comrade Sammy and Turtles. Look at Tammy likes... I love turtles, by the way. Absolutely love them. Yeah, I'm ready for a little cooler weather, too. I like turtles. I like tortoises, all of that stuff. In fact, one of the things I keep around my desk is, of course, my replica Galapagos tortoise. So, yeah, this is one of my... one of the Rebor things. This is Lonesome George, the last of his kind. And they did a replica to celebrate Lonesome George. And so, yeah, not outside of the Ninja Turtles. I like turtles and tortoises and all that stuff as well. I think they're very cool. Very cool animals. But all sorts of stuff, you know. And so, yeah, so I'm playing around with... What I'm playing around with here, and I don't know if it's going to work, but is almost like a King Kong-like... how do I put it? I wanted to create a character that was the woods of Sleepy Hollow. Which sounds really weird, but I wanted to create a character that was a manifestation of environment. And I don't mean like environment in terms of environmentalism. I mean, you know, a walking bramble, so to speak. You know, or, you know, gnarled trees walking, and that was cool and would be a great foil for, you know, this character, tentatively the Headless Woodsman. So we're going to see where it goes. Have you seen the tortoise on a treadmill? I can't even imagine it, but it's epic. Those things can move. Yes, they can, man. They absolutely can. Yeah. Oh, shoot. It just jumped again. Spooky season is less hot weather. Perfect for going outside without suffering. Indeed. Sheriff Sam says, yeah, retail stores always put things out so early. And in this case, I'm totally down for it. The pumpkin spice hype can be piped down a bit, but everything else is glorious. Yeah. The earliest I've seen Halloween candy was July 31st. Wow, at the grocery store. That's nuts. Yeah. You know, it was so funny, too, because they had so much stuff. Oh, I got to show you guys these. I did get some souvenirs, some merch when I was out. I want to hang these up when I can get the chance. And unfortunately, there's plastic on them, so I don't think it's going to be that easy. Well, maybe it will be. But these are some Universal Monster posters and prints they did. They're new, but they're done in this kind of retro style. So I picked up a bunch of these things. I actually sent pictures. I think I sent some. I didn't send these to Graham. I should send these to Graham Nolan because he's another monster kid for sure. So is Lepresti, but you know, Lepresti doesn't agree with me on and Graham on Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein the Wolfman, which we love. But he does agree with me on Frankenberry, thank God. But yeah, I love the meeting other monster kids. So yeah, these are some of the kind of retro vintage prints that they had for sale there. And they're kind of more they're not using the likenesses of the actors, obviously. They're just kind of doing the kind of general version, but they're capturing the feel of those illustrations. And so I'd say old vintage monster movie posters are another thing. This is totally Boris Karloff, though. So yeah, they definitely drifted into Karloff. So yeah, I love this kind of stuff. I love this texturing. I love this lighting. You guys know this with Pizza Live. That's a big thing of what I'm doing. Yeah, Pizza. I love that just as I say that, I look up and Tammy goes, Pizza Live in October should feature the classics of Halloween. Yes, it should. I got to figure out a way to do this, you know? But I love this stuff, man. Yeah, we got to do something fun for Halloween. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to do it. But one of the greatest character designs of all time. Bride of Frankenstein. Just incredible. I love this stuff. And of course, absolutely Boris Karloff's likeness on this one. There you go. The one, the only. William Henry Pratt, a.k.a. Boris Karloff, and the amazing work of Jack Pierce. That's the stuff I desperately want to be doing with Nosfero. So I've always said I like the... something I took a page out of Guillermo del Toro's book, which is I like the aesthetics of horror. I like the aesthetics of the genre. But I'm not really the biggest fan of the mechanics of the genre. So what I like to see is you know, the kind of the mist, the gnarled trees. Let's zoom in a bit there. The gnarled trees and all of that kind of stuff. And also, you know, some of the mechanics of horror, but it's the aesthetics that I really love. I love the spooky season, as I call it. You know, I love looking at that kind of stuff. That's why I like listening to Art Bell's Ghost to Ghost, one of my absolute favorites. Can't live without it. Those old broadcasts, you could just tell there's just a delight in it, where we kind of, you know, connect with those things that go bump in the night. I said to somebody that if I were to have one of the taglines I have for Nosfero is the hero that goes bump in the night. You know, that's what I just love that aspect of him. I wanted to create a superhero that was like Dracula to Dracula. You know, like what is it? Nosfero does that word. What is it? It's the name that ghouls and demons dare not say because they know it means death for the undead. And a little bit of a Beetlejuice reference there too. So yeah, I love that stuff. That's what I want to really bring to this stuff. And so he had to have a little bit of a scary quality, and that was a little bit of the element for why I put the piece of metal through his nose. I know I did, but I put the piece of metal through his nose because he shouldn't look like somebody that is absolutely, you know, you're safe. You know what I mean? Like everything's going to be all right. It's like, well, we don't know how this is going to go. You know? Pizza Live in October should feature the classical Halloween 100%. Positively horrific. Yep. She is a thinker. Uplifting horror. That's what it is. Yeah, I love horror, man. I love Lamp and I love horror. That's the way it works. But yeah, I mean, that's the stuff I get excited about when I'm like trying to figure out like what am I going to do with these characters and what's the world I'm creating going to be. This is all about the aesthetics of horror. You know, it's like the wolves, the cemetery. You know what I mean? It's like it's all about that stuff. And yeah, that's the stuff I live for. You know, just the spooky things. You know, the skeletons, the crypts. You know, the monsters. All of that stuff. I can't believe... I'm sorry to, like... This is going to sound nuts, but I got to put my thumbnail in for comparison. The quality of the books I print is so freaking good. And that's a hats off to my printer, by the way, and the color correctors. Do not miss Nosfero. When this second chance goes live on the 20th, which is next Tuesday, believe it or not, when this campaign goes live, just don't miss it. Because the books are going to be beautiful. And there's low print runs on everything. What's up, Bloody Drake? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. It's great to see you, my friend. Don't miss these books. Don't sleep on them because they're quality. And they're lovingly painted, dare I say. So yeah, that's the stuff that excites me about the work I do. And I just have, you know, everything I do going forward is going to be fueled by, you know, that love I have of Halloween, that love I have for the kind of gothic romance look. And it's the little moments that you're seeing in a painting like this that are the ones that I really try to champion. You know, that's the stuff that I get excited about. So in a story like this, you've got this headless character sitting down, and this maiden is sewing on like a cross patch. It's almost the funniest thing. Like they have this, you know, it's a little bit of a gothic romance story between her and him. She kind of meets him. It's very Beauty and the Beast on some levels. But it's a little bit of a gothic romance story, but it's got this hilarious aspect of where it's almost like she's sewing a Cub Scout patch on, you know, to this guy, because he can't wear the cross and he can't really talk to her. He can only, you know, she can only learn through his actions, and you know, it's fun, you know. And she's gonna lift the as with all of my characters, I'm very big on the female leads, the possibility of lifting the curse. You know, through love. I'm kind of cheesy that way. What's up, Devil Flyer Momentum? How are you doing? Hey, bro, DM me on Twitter, please. Okay, me. Okay. Shanth will be streaming every single day up until the launch. Yeah, we'll see. I'll be out of town. Oh, gosh, it's going to be nuts, man. I'm going to try to stream as much as I can. No guest on. Yeah, well, there will be a guest on. Definitely. There's got to be. There's got to be a guest on. You know what I mean? It's important. It's important to do. Got to have that character. Let me see here. What have I got here? All right, just making sure I have everything here. Okay, so that. All right, good. Just making sure. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out yeah, the thing about streaming is you got to make sure that you do it consistently and you keep it as one of the many things you've got going on, and continually improve your craft. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I have a little bit of a different thumbnail style for this stream, because one of the things I like to do every now and again is take what I do, take the layout and design, and just do something with it. And I know that that there's something to be said sometimes for just having a large image that people can see. And that was the thing that I was really thinking about, like, oh wow, let me just show people the texture of the paper. Let me make a thumbnail where you just see this giant up close example of what I'm going to be doing on stream, and here we are doing it, live, so people can see it. Because I don't know that there seems to be, I know I have it, but there seems to be a fascination with traditional media at the moment. Like, and I know Rocky's been seeing this too, right? When we're streaming, it's wild. I dared. She is the worst. So I feel like I'm behind on something here. Is he as iconic as Gaston though? Also, I disrespectfully disagree. Cherished, or what do we say? Belle is the worst princess. Oh, I see. She is the worst. I dared. I am offended. Wow, I didn't realize that we're gonna get into a Belle thing, deeply. Oh my gosh, Emo is triggered. I didn't realize there was this dislike for Belle, but oh, that's a trip, man. That's funny. Yeah, it's a crazy aspect of this thing, right? Because when you're writing fairy tales, or when you're writing those kinds of story, and obviously I know they took liberty with that character and changed it from the original, kind of Grimm's fairy tale. And then of course there's the silent film of Beauty and the Beast, which is insane. That's a wild picture. But there's this element of those stories, those elements of not, how do I put it? That element of figuring out what your purpose is, or figuring out what your bigger purpose is in that plan through, adversity, and through, working together with other people, that I find kind of the core feature of romance, and what makes Dracula the best. For me, it's the best genre novel I think ever written. Dracula gets better with every read. So does, by the way, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but Dracula is just doing way more than Sleepy Hollow did. It's not to say I don't like Frankenstein. My brother is nuts, but I love him. It's not that it's I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's the brotherhood and the fellowship between the heroes that are going to try to rescue Mina, and that are unable to rescue Lucy and Van Helsing and Quincy and Harker. I mean, these guys, like, they don't have perfect relationships. There are moments where they risk offense. There are moments where, uncomfortable things are said between, folks who are on the same team. And it's tough, man. It's a tough book. But heroism prevails. What's up, channel member Grey Wolf? It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. If it wasn't created as a joke, the internet treats it as one. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing so many things. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Neo-Gastonism is an authoritarian right-wing ideology founded by John Doyle. The ideology has 3 tenets. Women aren't allowed to read. Wow. Eats lots of eggs. Oh, God. The things I learn here. The things I learn that you guys teach me. Some I maybe I should try to unlearn, but God bless you guys for being here. Yeah, man. Dracula, Frankenstein. These things are canonical texts, but I have to say that I think Dracula is one of the most important works of Western fiction that has ever been created. It's amazing. So yes, if you have not spent time in the company of Dracula, if you think that the center of Dracula, here's a better way of putting it, if you think the center of Dracula, which is why I'm going to be doing a video documentary on Dracula and Bram Stoker's Dracula, the actual book, I mean. If you think that Dracula is about Dracula or the love story of Vlad the Impaler, who's the basis of... No, none of that's in the book. It's the story of heroes triumphing over evil, and it spends so much time on the heroes. Dracula is a small portion of that book. He's in it, but we don't really get deep into that character. We learn things about him. He's supernatural, but the most things we learn about Dracula come from Van Helsing. And the thing that blows my mind about Frankenstein, the book, is Frankenstein is the story, and most people would not ever start telling the story this way, but Frankenstein is the story of a ship attempting to explore and reach, the North Pole. And it gets stuck in ice. And there's an unlikely encounter with a scientist named Victor Frankenstein at the end of his life that convinces him that there are some levels of exploration and going into things deep that are not worth your life, not worth losing your family over, not losing everything, because he's writing to his sister, the captain of the ship. And he decides to turn around. It's an interesting story. It's a story about... the story of Frankenstein is a cautionary tale, some would say, but what they don't grasp is it's a cautionary tale to a character in the book, that it's a story we're hearing secondhand, that we're having it relayed to us by the ship captain, who, after listening to Frankenstein, say, look, man, don't go chasing this stuff to your doom. That's what I did. That's a hell of a story, man. It's about the hubris of humanity and not understanding the scale of forces they're messing with, and that is amazing. What's up, Comrade Sammy? How are you doing? See, we knew you'd show up. Yeah, you got to make an appearance and say you're alive. And that for me is big. That for me is a big part of that story. I'm close to getting the first 25 pages of The Vampire Squad finished. Congratulations, Grey Wolf. Well done, my friend. Excellent. We salute you. We salute you. But yeah, there's that aspect of things. I hear this when I hear Ethan talk about the character of Lily, or, when I hear Shane talk about Alex Stone and Inglorious Rex and 232, and, there's aspects of, the human journey and characters that are so important for writing. You have to have a story that is interesting and compelling enough to keep you going. And it's, I think that's the cool thing about being an independent creator, is that as an independent creator, sorry, I gotta get back in frame here. As an independent creator, there's so much to it, and you gotta have it be worth it. They say that having a very good why can make the hows, or can sustain any lack of a how. You'll find a way to do it if you've got that why. And so for me, the story has to be my why. I have to know that the story is important, and not even important. It's that it's entertaining, that it entertains me, that it opens up possibilities, that it's not just an exercise in genre, an exercise in just filling up pages, and it's more than that, because the story is ultimately what pulls me along when I'm working on Nosfero. The story of Nosfero and the ability to share it, which one of the things I'm most excited about this time is I'm going to be able to have more spoiler conversations with you guys, because that's something I really want to do. I want to talk about Nosfero. I want to talk about the story, and the characters and where I see it going. So right now on today's stream, I'm letting you in on a process that I don't know how many creators let people in on this stage of the process, and maybe with good reason. Maybe it's just boring, or it's just not the it's not the thing people want to see. But I'm showing you guys the process of how my ideas come together, and how I create stuff and stories that you might be seeing later. And you could see this stuff on back when I was really active on Instagram. You can track that history. But if you watched my YouTube channel from the beginning, went back and watched all the old videos, you would see things evolving that were not set, that are now a big part of the Nosfero story and a big part of everything that I'm doing here. And it's great. It's really fun to do this kind of stuff. It's really fun to share this kind of stuff with you guys. Let me see here. It's called Of Comics and Men. Yes, a cultural history of American comic books. Yes, indeed. There you go. I'm hoping to be educated. Yeah, there's some very cool stuff out there. I suppose I should tell you and Rocky about this book I got from the library. Okay, got it. I just did that backwards. Sorry about that. Tandy says, yeah, I guess I saved Turtle's lifelong and the I saved a turtle's life to the other day from my dog. There you go. Yeah, turtles are great. Gotta love them. There you go. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are entertained, and thank you guys for hitting the like, making sure you're subscribed, ring the bell for notifications. That's how YouTube does this stuff. And remember, guys, if we want to keep doing what we're doing, which is putting good out into the world and creating things and not getting sucked into the nihilistic, petty politics of the world, this is the way we do it. This is the way we do it, by sharing this stuff out. And when I see creators being very successful and having success on YouTube, I can't even imagine in some cases, that are doing really positive things, it inspires me. I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think it's worth saying. It doesn't create in me envy. It creates in me inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was looking at the amount of money being generated by Harry Potter for J.K. Rowling, and I was like, she deserves every single penny of that success. Every single penny. Because there was a time when she was sitting there with that book, writing, and with that story, I should say, having no idea how it was going to work out. No idea. And it was a leap of faith. Like, that I'm going to do this. And she talked about it. She goes, I'd hit rock bottom in my life. And in every conceivable fashion, I would have defined myself as a failure. And that was just a pretty powerful thing to hear somebody say. And she said, rock bottom turned out to be the most incredible foundation for building back to what I, building to what I became. And I did not know, like, it's easy for me to look at things as they are now, but when I launched Nosfero the Crypt Walker, I didn't know hardly anybody in Comicsgate. I didn't know, I launched on Mike's channel. I had just met him a week or so before. It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. And so I don't know how things are going to go. I had the kind of cool opportunity of after stream talking to Shane Davis about the launch of Inglorious Rex, and and he was saying what I think any reasonably humble person would say, or I should say cautious person would say. And he was saying, I don't know how this thing is going to go. I mean, I think it's, I hope it does well. I don't think it's going to go terrible, but I have no idea how it's going to go. And if that thing just was like beyond expectations, that thing was a smash hit. And it's easy to look at it now and go, well, of course it's going to be a smash hit. But Shane is making this thing. He doesn't know. He's not experiencing it from the outside. He's experiencing it from the inside. And it was probably the same with J.K. Rowling, and it's the same with George Lucas, and it's the same with any creator, and it was the same with me. I mean, I had no idea if the book was going to, be received well by the audience, or if anybody was interested in painted comics. You guys made me aware of that. It's you guys who did that. And, my gratitude and is just, and also just, I mean, honestly, God, who was I telling this to? I think I was telling my wife this, and I've probably said it on stream a few times. I didn't know how to paint, like, at all, really, when I left college. I didn't do even an actual, anything I would say is a painted illustration until I left college. So if you'd gone back in time and showed me this, and said, you're going to be doing this, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. I don't even know how to paint. That's the serendipity of this stuff. So for me to be on YouTube and for me to funding this book and writing stories is crazy, Mr. Monkey Boy. You've got me, man. Oh my God, you're killing me. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild, man. To see us, you guys are cracking me up, man. The chat is cracking me up. Yep. That's true. That's 100% true. Yep. It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy to see all this stuff and see all the insanity of the positive stuff. The benevolent stuff that kind of happens, and you just go, all right, let's do this thing. Let's see where it goes. I'm launching a second chance campaign for Nosfero the Crypt Walker on the 20th of August. And it feels like I just, took that leap of faith to hand in my letter of resignation, say I'm not going to be a part of this, to step into Comicsgate with absolutely zero guarantees and with no expectations and a full awareness nobody owed me anything. And, you know, to be doing a second chance campaign on this book and have people excited about getting this book and to realize, wow, there's people who missed this book because, you know, a lot of people didn't know who the heck I was when I launched this book. That stuff is humbling, man. That blows my mind. That's never going to stop now, is it? Rock's got me. Yep. You guys, let me tell you something. Everybody knows this, and I know Tammy was a nurse, and so she knows this stuff, and I don't think you can ever take the nurse out of a person, but it's crazy. People do better when they have a sense of humor. Life is better when people laugh. When I look at people getting sucked into politics and becoming, you know, hopeless and saying, oh, there's no point to anything, that's the first thing that goes. The first thing they try to take away is your sense of humor and your right to just laugh at the silliness. And laughter is incredible. It's an incredible resource. And those times we spend laughing at night and like those late night streams, man, it's crazy. I laugh so hard I can't breathe. Sometimes I get invited onto streams and something will be happening that is so, like, I'm about ready to go on a stream and they're so funny, I start laughing and coughing. I go, I can't go on the stream. If I go on the stream, amen. See? When Tammy says that, it's practically a prescription, folks. That's medical knowledge. The 20th. Yep. That's right. The 20th. It's happening, man. It's happening. Let's see here. Shanth, what I tell you about your first run, there will be lots of... Oh, yes, you did, John. Wow, you did. There will be lots of weeping and gnashing of teeth when people start getting their Nosfero and posting about it. You're right, man. Look, those are some of the high points and crazy points of it. Yeah, the endorphins, laughter releases. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, you hear that stuff all of the time. But there were a couple of things that blew my mind about this, and it was hearing people like you and Aldous and Jeremy, Ice and Fire. I mean, like, all of these people who were saying things like that. I remember Michael Bancroft saying, you're going to hit 500 backers. And I just looked at him and I went, are you out of your mind? Like, I've done 2 Indiegogos, and those were before I was in Comicsgate. And I go, and those were like, I think let me look at the most backers, which was on Artbook 1. And I have it here because I write the number. And I said, and thank you to and I write the number of backers. This was the highest number of backers I had previously. This was my first Indiegogo. 140 backers, guys. I want you to think about the madness of having somebody tell you, hey, Shanth, you're gonna have 500 backers for sure. And I'm like, I don't know if I've met 500 people in my life. I know I have because I was a teacher, so you meet more than 500 people, but yeah, I mean, here's a really good reason to get the word out of Nosfero about Nosfero is I'm going to continue to keep doing and get people excited about this book and get people to back this book. Because I'm always ready for another lesson in shock at how fortunate I am. You know what I mean? And like, if you want to see something, like, if you want to see a really, really genuine and appreciative person in total shock, yeah, back this campaign like crazy and you'll see it, because I don't know, man. I mean, oh God, I do love pop. See, look, this is the problem with food, guys. All I could think of was popcorn. I had some really great popcorn the other night, and I love popcorn. He's not going to stop. We've been doing this for 30 years. You know, he's not going to stop. Yeah, oh, Mark's Music Obsession. I'm so sorry, man. Oh, yeah. Well, don't worry. We got you covered, man. We got you covered. Yeah, hey, it's 1620 somewhere. Oh, my God. You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. But I love that. I loved seeing, like, it was fun being on a stream with Shane and on day one in the middle of the day. At some point, everybody took a break, and I was kind of just there with Shane, and we were talking about the campaign, and it's really funny to watch that happen to people. I think I enjoy that more because it's easier to experience things vicariously sometimes than to be at the center of them. I found, But like I like watching my kids at the amusement parks and all that stuff and having a great time. Like that's why you do it. You know, I love, you know, birthday parties for other people. To me, the best part of Christmas is the presents you get for other people, and the best part of Halloween. As fun as Halloween is when you're a kid, is there anything better and any person more important to the joy of society than the people who go all out decorating for Halloween, for Christmas, and the people who make the ultimate house to come and trick-or-treat at? To me, that was the first goal, was to trick-or-treat when I was a kid. The second goal was to make Halloween fun for kids when I got older. Love that aspect of it, man. Yeah, I like to say when I'm illustrating the pages of a comic book, I'm illustrating them as if I'm decorating for Halloween. That's my attitude, you know. I love Halloween so much. I can't handle a leaky artist. Yeah, I can't either. You know, we all do. Every now and again we do it, and it's disgusting. If 500 people back, we will unlock Sean's tears. No, I've hit 660 on the first book, so actually that's probably true. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not good at that whole emotions thing, but you know, my kids and my wife can get me there, and gratitude's been known to do it. But I take nothing for granted, guys. I'm just, you know, the fact that anybody is excited about the book to me is crazy. The fact that I get to spend time with you and share this stuff with you guys, it's all insanity to me. All insanity. I mean, there's just nothing. Nothing in my life prepared me for this kind of thing. I just had no idea this was even a possibility. YouTube, and my God, you know, who knows? Who knew this was going to be a thing? There we go. Just get a little bit of color in there, because, you know, I want to make sure, even at the sketch phase, you know, that yeah, I mean, it's weird. We talked about it a little bit, but, you know, a big thing I want to make sure I say is, there you go. 4/20/2021, no joke. Wow. At 501 backers. Tammy D, absolutely. How far back does it go? Wow. Craziness, man. At Wildness. You guys are amazing. Oh my gosh. Son of Liberty Radio and channel member, how are you doing, my friend? It's great to see you. Celebrates 2 months of membership. Congratulations. I got a cheerleader waiting for you. I have a 45-minute drive. Entertain me. I love it, man. I love it, man. Let me see here. I got to send a cheerleader your way. This is for you, my friend. We'll start with this. Charge! And one more for you, brother. Charge! Mark's music obsession is throwing down. Shanth, if you want emotion, wait until I finish checking out on the 20th if you want to see emotion. Dude. You crack me up, dude. God bless you. Yeah, don't worry. That's going to be, to me, I'm really looking forward to. If we're talking about things I'm really looking forward to, I'm looking forward to packing up your copies of Nosfero. That's going to feel like a milestone, man. That's going to be really cool. Yeah. That's the stuff I look forward to. Fulfilling the campaign was, I was nervous about it because I can get very obsessed with making sure everything is packed perfectly, and I kind of had to say, all right, breathe, dude. You gotta sooner or later you gotta make sure, you gotta let go a little bit. But I just like to really pack the hell out of things. But I really enjoyed it because that was the whole reason for doing it, and so I was incredibly. I love that process. I love fulfilling comic books and books to people because I get to write the notes to everybody and all of that stuff. Yeah, that was fun. And Mark, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be fun to do, man. That's gonna be fun to do. Seriously, Rock. I mean, you're gonna hang on to that more thing, man. You're gonna hang on to that more thing. I know how it goes with us. I know how it goes. We keep going and going and going and going. That's our trick, man. That's our secret. But yeah, it's. I love gothic romance. I love that kind of stuff, and I love that's what's really fueling me. I like a love story in the stuff I do. Who knows? It's I guess I'm a reasonably romantic person. I've always have been. I love a good love story, but I also love Halloween, and I love supernatural stuff, and I like, monsters and creatures and all of that kind of stuff. But I think that's a part of a complete story for me, is that human connection, and like when I was working on these characters, I'm trying to put this stuff together. That's what I'm after. I'm trying to give you guys a story that, that has heroism and has romance and all of that stuff. And it was actually kind of a big decision for me, because one way in which we were talking about Solomon Kane earlier, I suppose I haven't even eaten anything today, so I better have a little piece of beef jerky then. Got to sustain myself a little bit. But I realized that one of the things about Solomon Kane is very stoic. There's no love in his life. Like, he is dedicated to the mission. So it was a bit of a like, was Laurel going to be, in my mind, I kept thinking, was Laurel going to just be a damsel in distress, and there's always going to be a new damsel in distress every book? And just the part of me that thinks that heroes need to have that connection with God, but also have that very one-pointed connection with another human being. That particular kind of love, the romantic love, and also the fellowship love, right? And the family sort of aspect of things, and that aspect, like what you have here. So all of the characters change to meet those needs. Greylock changed to meet that need of a father figure, of a comrade in arms. And there's only going to be more in book 2, man. Yeah, I know. I got to pace myself on that jerky. I'm like the golden child with the jerky. When he's got those little leaves he's eating. This is where we're going. Replace her with a dog. Make the dog ultra cute. Give it powers that are ultra cute but funny. Yeah, exactly. But funny and effective. You're absolutely right. Although, as I know you know, Random McRanderson, my brother, I did make sure to include a giant dog in this book. So, I'm here. Breathe. Jerky. Paint. Jerky. More. Rocky is not going to let that go. It's not happening, folks. Rocky and I, when it comes to humor, long-term humor, we're like a dog with a bone, guys. I am so excited to introduce you to this character, guys. Now, this character makes, I don't even know what I'd say. This character makes Solomon Kane look chill by comparison. This character is, when evil sees this character coming, it's like how human beings see the Terminator. This character is the death dealer, but he's almost like the good dealer. It's ridiculous. I don't know if that made any sense. But yeah, that character I'm absolutely excited about introducing you guys to. Death Will Die is going to be a hell of a book. It's going to have some beautiful work in it, but it's going to be the next step of Nosfero, and it's like, I think part of the reason why I feel so excited about the Second Chance campaign is because I'm so proud of this book, and not any book will do. We've got channel member Spaceman in the house. How are you doing, my friend? It is great to see you. Did a full, oh wow, Mark, did a full front yard spread for years for Halloween, included a tunnel of terror. Oh my God, Mark. I knew there was a connection here, my friend. Graveyard special sound effects triggers, and of course crazy music soundtrack, and dressed as Jason at 6'3". That must have been awesome. Love Jason. I have over here with all my monsters and my figures, well represented, as I have Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and of course Jason Voorhees. And I had that hockey mask when I was a kid. Loved that. Oh my God. Random. You maniac. Guys, if you're on the receiving end of one of these, do drop a thank you in the chat. Random McRanderson was, oh my God. Oh wait, sorry, yeah, Random McRanderson gifted 5 memberships, received one himself, thank God. Timothy Fitzgerald received one. Jackal received one. Jordan Horst received one. L.E. New Dungeoneer received one. Man. No, that I like that it gifted you one, Random. That only seems fair, my friend. That is amazing. Thank you, Random, and let me send some love your way. This is for you, brother.
Charge!
And of course, we got to do one more.
Charge!
Thank you, my friend. You legend. You, Knight of Rhode Island. You King of New England. I salute you. There you have it, man. You guys are crazy. You don't know how to get presents. That's the thing, right? There's a way to do it. Is there something? Can somebody help that, by the way? Yes, I know. Yeah, it does. It does. Could somebody do me a favor real quick? Because I got to take... My arm is killing me. There we go. Can somebody do me a favor and explain how membership... Thank you. Random is doing it, guys. Yeah, if somebody could explain in the chat how it works, because I still am not positive how it works. I've turned it on, like I know that it works, but then I typically will buy memberships, for the channels that I watch. And so I don't know. I've never received a membership because I'm usually a member before it. I would have even had one gifted to me. I think it's a really cool feature. I think it's... Oh man, this water bottle's about to fall over. Shoot. But I think it's a really cool feature. I love that they do that. But I gotta be honest with you, I don't know the ins and outs of how it works. It's another crazy YouTube thing, like channel memberships in general were for me. With the, when I was doing the end credits and I was watching the first channel I ever saw do, and hey, how's your father? How are you doing? And it is great to see you, my friend. Channel member, how's your father? Once you turn it on, you're good to go. So here's my question. How does it work? How does it make the decision for how it gives them out? Is it utterly random? Not as a pun there, Random McGranderson, but is it utterly random how it works? Like, I don't get how it works. Yeah, it's like Secret Santa. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Tammy D gifted one SHANTH ENJETI art membership. Tammy D, you're on fire today. Thank you so much. God, man, I tell you what, a guy stops streaming for a few minutes and then comes here and you guys are just uplifting, man. Holy cow. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And so Mighty Geek Studios was gifted a membership by Tammy D. I love it. I love it. This is for you, Tammy.
Charge!
Gotta have one more because that's how we roll.
Charge!
Thank you so much. I appreciate... Gosh, you guys are making it hard for me to even focus with all of the all of the support and craziness. Oh my goodness, guys. My cup runneth over. I was sitting here starting out the stream and I was going, okay, so what am I going to do today? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to, how are things going to go? And at a certain point, as I know you guys know, you just fire up a stream and you say, okay, we're going to go for it. And you guys don't disappoint, man. You don't disappoint. You guys are nuts. Thank you, Tammy, for donating memberships. Thank you to all of you guys who have come in here and gone nuts and made it rain. I do appreciate you. The fun part of arthritis. But yeah, I've never received one, so I don't know how it works. I know there was a button you're supposed to click to turn on. God, I sound old. I know. Be kind. I'm almost 50 now. I've got a couple more years, and I know a lot of you guys are like almost 50. You kid. Yes, guys. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. And well said, past Master Dan. Okay, so hold on. Let me move my glasses here. Sorry. Bloody Drake says, branded accounts are Google plus YouTube accounts created before 2017, but aren't your main Google account. Oh, wow. Jeez. You guys are just like a font of information, man. Let me see here. It doesn't give me the option to choose who it goes to. Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. If you have a branded account, you cannot receive gifts. Oh, really? Wow. Yes, there's a movie night this week for sure. I'm doing one this week. It may be tomorrow even. because I've got my son is being moved into college, so I'm going to be flying out to do that, and really looking forward to spending time with him. And I want to try to make sure I get a movie night in. So I'll let you guys know, hopefully before tomorrow morning. So I'm maybe late tonight, which is morning for me. I'll let you guys know what we're going to do and get that together. Because I do want to do one. I miss you guys. I miss watching that stuff. So it's always fun. But yeah, I don't always know how it is. 50 more, says our universe. Yeah, I know. You guys have me beat. I was gifted one for Michael Bancroft's channel and signed up immediately after. Yeah, that's a great channel too. Yeah, I've known Mike is probably the person I've known the longest inside of Comicsgate, and who has remained the most, knock on wood, the most steady. And yeah, it's weird. With all of the insanity that goes on, I like to think that there's a few people I know who seem to keep their, no pun intended, keep their head during these things. Oh, whoops, shoot, it just jumped. Sorry. Where is it? Crazy, my dad turns 50 in November. Y'all are old enough to be, for you to be my internet uncles. Yeah. It's craziness, and it's fun, man. It's fun to get to this point. Like I said, and Mark was saying it really well before, this is the time where you get to be Santa Claus, and make the magic of Christmas happen with Christmas lights, or by volunteering, your time to, paint backdrops for, the school play or something like that. And the same thing goes with Halloween. This is the time when, you get to introduce people to the Universal monsters, and you get to introduce them to the classics. And, my dream is to, just to continue to make work and make a space where we have these fun times. Pizza Live, the attempt to create something immersive with Pizza Live owes itself in large part to my theme park experience and my love of watching things like Disney's Halloween Treat, which they used to play in the 80s. That stuff was just fuel for my imagination. That's what's so fun. I'm officially banning you now. No, I haven't said it because I always try to keep my kids, you know what I mean, John. But location wise, yeah, he's gonna be where I just came from, or in that vicinity. For real, gotcha. Yeah, just babies up in her, says Tammy D. I know it. Internet uncles sounds like a euphemism for arrestable offense. Yeah, I know. Seriously, this like lately, nothing surprises me anymore. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, I'm definitely a step away from senility. That's 100%. Yeah. 50's in the rear view. Well, you know what's crazy, right? You guys are gonna love this. So the missus and I were talking when we were down in Orlando when I was visiting Universal with the family, and Seamers will think you're 25. You're absolutely right. But we were down there. Hey, awesome one, channel member. It's great to see you, my friend. It's when we were down there, in Orlando, and we were kind of taking that stuff in, and we were seeing that space. I remember thinking really clearly of the fact that things that are institutions of the imagination, things that are again, I think of Art Bell, God rest him, and folks like that. It's almost like when they're happening and you're lucky enough to be there when they're born, it's I don't know, did you guys know that? Like I remember when Comicsgate started, and really it started for me with the Fandom Menace and talking about what the heck is going on right now in entertainment. I remember thinking when it was happening, and I still feel this way, that this was something that we were going to look back on and think, wow, it's amazing. Were you there then? And I still feel that, man. I still feel that. And, I hope that Nosfero is that for you guys. You guys who have watched this stuff be painted and have been on countless, yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to that big time. I'm always looking forward to painting certain things. But you guys were here for it. You know what I mean? You guys are here for it. Like, I would have given anything I found out this is really gonna be offensive to some of you. Excuse me. I have heard no shortage of people talking about Art Bell since I've been on YouTube, but I didn't listen to Art Bell until 2 years ago. 2.5, maybe 2 years ago was the first time. And so I am, in some ways, I'm sure people envy me getting to have that experience and hear a lot of those broadcasts for the first time. But man, am I envious for people who were there and called in and were experiencing it live. This incredible broadcaster at the top of his game who gave so much amazing stuff to us. That's kind of how I feel right now. These are broadcasts, what we're doing. These are broadcasts, you know. I'm still at the beginning of, yeah, right. Like I'm going to say how old I am. Yeah, that's right. I know what you mean. Yeah. I was just listening to Art interviewing, oh, yes. Gosh, how do I say that? Is it Father Malachi Martin, a retired exorcist? Amazing stuff. Yes, I heard him mentioning that on a stream, believe it or not. And Son of Liberty Radio, I haven't forgotten that you were driving. I was about to wrap up when you came in here, but I am going to go until you are safely where you're supposed to be, or at least hopefully. CG, Elrond was there. Gandalf, I was there 7 years ago. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that stump looks great. Looks like where a man's head was lopped off. It does, doesn't it? God, you guys are quick. Can't pull anything over on you guys. Comic books, I was conscious that comic books sucked and stopped buying them and started practicing art myself. Very cool, of course. That I had stopped years before. I watched EVS Art Supplies videos, and it wasn't, and it was CG from there. I remember those videos, man. Yes, indeed. Stephen Rockwood drawing saying Art Bell was great. Agreed. Yep. Awesome one. Yes. That's good, right? Yeah, there you go. Oh, Malachi. Thank you. Malachi. Appreciate that. Okay, guess I'm stupid. You guys are hilarious. Ale at Cranberry Langers X2. Yep. Yeah, I mean, or times 2. I just to have been, there and to see that kind of thing and to be transported back to that time and in that way, because it was not that long ago. Art Bell's passing was not that long ago, so it goes to pretty contemporary times. And now, the children of Art Bell, YouTube channels like the Y-Files, where, in his backdrop he has a picture of Art Bell. That channel has almost 4 million subscribers with 140-something videos. Really high-end content. Really well-researched, really fun. Yeah, Art Edition in 7 days, baby. Stephen Rockwood drawing, you were one of the champions of me doing that. I was still trying to wrap my mind around selling Nosfero, the first printing. But I look at shows like the Y-Files and, Hecklefish and all of that stuff. And, those folks are the children of Art Bell, and everybody is different. But Art Bell has a place of reverence in American broadcasting, but also in terms of, those stories that are off the beaten path. Those things that are the stuff of American folklore. And he, in many ways, became one of our great folklore storytellers, which is crazy, I will be there to back the Art Edition on day one. I know you will, brother, and thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. And I hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. I'm sure the temperature is a little bit big, yeah. Oh, the gifty thingy. I got you. But it's, I remember, gosh, it was the funniest thing because I didn't know that John Malin's cats were named Art and Bell. It was all around me. No excuse for not getting into Art Bell other than just I missed it. It was just off my radar. But Art Bell is, now that I've spent some time with his stuff, believe me, I fully get it, guys. I fully get what I was missing. Keep going 25 more minutes, Son of Liberty Radio. God bless you. Drive safe, though. Don't, as I know Art Bell would have said, stay safe when you're on the road. Truckers, if you've got a ghost story to tell us, make sure you pull over. I used to love that. It is too funny. Yeah, Art Bell is, he's another one of those American treasures, isn't he? And his voice goes on. If there's one thing I'm grateful for, because he had young, kids when he passed away, I think it's kind of great that it's not the same thing, you'll always, miss it. But it's not the same thing is having your dad there, but they can go back and hear him. You know what I mean? They can go back and hear their dad, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, it's not everything. Hey, what's up, Phil? How you doing, man? Let's see. Awesome One says, where is it? God, this keeps jumping. I listened to, hold on, I can't read that. My glasses fell. I listened to Pete on Creepy Little Book now. Oh, now Dark Sayings. Lots of portals and mystery creatures. Dang, man. John says hello to Zaid Comics. Random McRanderson, I never got into Art Bell because I never really had an inclination to believe in aliens or whatever. It was too out there for me. Yeah, absolutely understood. Hey, Awesome One and Zaid, says Tammy D. Fell asleep to art every weekend from 2001 to 2007. There you go, guys. Yeah. There is something special about that dude's broadcast. So I typically will go to sleep to something that's a little bit fun and spooky. So I would listen to H.P. Lovecraft audiobooks. My record for probably most listened to books are The Dunwich Horror and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Dracula's in the mix a little bit. You know, I like things like that, but it's not as easy. But once I started listening to and Art Bell stuff, he's been in regular rotation. I listen to old episodes of Spooky Matter, or the old episodes of Spooky Matter and Ghost to Ghost all the time. It's just great stuff, and I enjoy watching the Y-Files. I enjoy watching things like the Grim Life Collective. Those two channels are great for me. If there's a channel that it's weird. The stuff I admire isn't the stuff I do or I think I necessarily could ever do. But I really admire the Grim Life Collective channel, and I really admire the Y-Files. I want to do that level of production quality when I do the stuff that I'm interested in doing. So let me see if I can figure out a way to do this. I don't know if this is going to work. But for those of you guys who have seen... how do I even do this? I don't know if this is going to work. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can create a new scene. Wow, that's terrifying. Okay, you guys can see me. And then I'm going to try to see if I can find this here. There we go. Let's pause this for a second. So I've been showing this stuff. This is a behind the scenes. All right, take care, brother. I will see you soon. Hold on, let me move this because this is out of place here. But this is the video series that I'm working on, and I wanted to share a little bit of this with you guys, and I'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. Can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully you guys can hear me. But this is a video that I'm working on, and you guys have seen me do this stuff in process, but these are what the thumbnails are going to look like. So this is a part of the stuff that I'm doing. And then this is a digital portrait I'm working on of Mary Shelley. And so I am working on, doing documentaries. And so you guys know this bit here, but... And so this stuff is very much about just bringing this education to things and trying to help people. I've done exhaustive research. I spent some time on this trip looking into Mary Shelley, and I realized this creative genius, this amazing human being who's given so much to us creatively, is one of the most misrepresented people in history. And all for reasons that have nothing to do with art and have everything to do with politics.
Clifton, the 27th of July,
so
18...
one of the things I wanted to do with her is kind of show her letters, talk about her actual life. It's all information we have that she wrote down. She kept exhaustive journals. But not only talk about how Frankenstein is misrepresented to us, but how Mary is. And here's one of them. Mary Shelley was a total girly girl. She was nothing like her mom. Her father went out of his way to raise her in a different way. Oh, I'm using AI for that. I'm using a text-to-speech program and then adjusting it and editing it to get the intonation right. But she was an incredible human being. And so between, and also talking about the monster, as I say, more Ted Bundy than Boo Radley. And it's just exploring the history of what this book is about and what these stories are about. And so I hope to be sharing that with you guys as soon as I figure out what it's going to be, because I haven't completely figured out what it's going to be yet and how I'm going to do the work. But the idea, I have actually, but I'm writing it right now. So here's all the things I've learned about Mary Shelley. There are many things. First of all, Mary Shelley's mother was unbelievably radical, in terms of, she was very left. She was very unstable. She was kind of known for her scandal, right, in terms of her life. And she died 11 days after Mary Shelley was born. And her father was married to her mother right after she became pregnant, right after, with their child, to try to avoid scandal. And she already had, her mother already had a child from another relationship that she had with, I guess, a married man or whatever. And then she died about a year after she married him. So not only did her father, he knew her in passing, but he didn't know her very well. And the biggest influence on Mary Shelley's life was her father. And even down to the style of writing they did. But he's been very much downplayed, which is weird, as a part of her story. And instead, there's all this biography, there's all this other stuff, there's all this auteur theory stuff, which is ridiculous. But we have Mary Shelley's journals. We have her own words around us. Mary Shelley had 4 children, which a lot of people may not know. And the first child passed away, was born too early. And then her next 2 children passed away within a year of each other when they were very young, before she had her 4th child that lived. And so she had lost a child, and writes about it in her journal, before she wrote Frankenstein. And yet people want to tie it to some, auteur stuff. Sometimes, here's the thing about artwork. Your life experiences do inform you. You have to have some wisdom you bring to your art. But your art is not always auteur theory. It's not always your biography. It's not always therapeutic. It's imaginative. And she had an incredible imagination. She was visited by the muse. And I've looked at everything about Percy Shelley. Did he write it or whatever? And people say, well, why didn't she put her name on the book? And I remember thinking, her mother's name socially was Poison. And her first name was Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, which was her father's name. That was her actual last name. And before she married Percy Shelley. So there's a million reasons why she might not have wanted to put her name on that book, or why they might not have advised her not to share the book. It was published by a friend of her mother's and father's, someone who published their work because they were in a similar circle. But there's about a million reasons why, when you have somebody. Imagine if your name was Theodore Bundy Smith, and you were trying to publish a book. Or imagine your father was a famous writer. There's a million reasons, but people go, so we don't know. Did she really write it, or did Percy write it? I've looked at Percy's stuff, and I've looked at the biography. What reason would he have to lie about that? It makes no sense. Where is the crime? It's weird, And yeah, your life does affect and impact your work, but it's not all confessional, because that would be boring. The imagination in Frankenstein is what makes it great. But it's a very strange thing, because Percy Shelley, here's something about Mary Shelley you haven't heard. First of all, Percy Shelley wasn't just a little atheist. He was very atheist, and very atheist by the times, and probably by today's standards, which is to say solidly. Not to make a comment about that or anything negative. One of my brothers is. But the thing about it is that she was a Christian. There is no way that Percy Shelley would have been a part of shaping the type of narrative that is in Frankenstein. He wouldn't have written that story. In a lot of ways, you could look at the character of Frankenstein as being so many things that Percy Shelley was as a person. Prone to irresponsibility, to running from his problems, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so many examples of which he would not have written that book as a cautionary tale. That book is weirdly, funny enough, the antithesis of her mother. It's very conservative, which is to say the message of the story is almost like, oh God, what was the name of that band? Shoot, you guys are going to get this in the chat. Once I sing it, you guys are going to get it. The message of Frankenstein is don't go chasing waterfalls. Do you guys know what I mean? It's the message is Dr. Frankenstein saying to a captain of a ship, do not explore beyond, don't push yourself beyond what you think are human limitations, and be glib or be downplay oblivion as a real possibility. Like, know the risk you're taking and decide whether you think it's worth it or not. Because I lost everything. And that's incredible. TLC! Thank you, Maromi Spaceman. Everybody's getting on me. Maromi, it's great to see you, my friend. How are you, my brother? Yeah, everybody knew it in the chat. I knew it. I knew you guys would come through. How's your father, John? Everybody's like, how the heck? Salt and Pepper I do love, though, by the way. That is a great option. Great band. And Mr. Monkey Boy. Yeah, I mean, she was an interesting person, and she was not a closed-minded person. It's kind of a strange thing. I got in a conversation with the guy who runs the convenience store because he was listening to them, and he was shocked I knew who they were, oddly, which I didn't think I looked that young. But yeah, I mean, she's interesting. And so part of the reason why I think that in academic circles, even though they want to push the idea that she was a feminist, which she wasn't by any objective measurement. She was she was a feminine. She was a woman. She was the complete package. To me, feminism is a reducing of the totality of what a woman could be based on its own, the own ideas her mother laid out in her book. That her father went out and said, clearly, I did not raise her with those beliefs because I saw some of the misery they brought. But the thing that's interesting about her is that while people want to champion her as that, they also want to undercut and say she didn't write the book. Which to me is one of the most condescending things you could do, is to say Mary Shelley didn't write Frankenstein with very little evidence. It presupposes a conspiracy. That yes, you can find that there were drafts of the book. She ran it through her partner, her husband, as an editor. He looked at things. Maybe he helped her with language, but that happens in creative circles. That's her idea, and the message is strongly her idea. And it's the weirdest thing to where there's a really big fear that people have who don't possess it, of other people's, and actually, well, let me rephrase that. There's a very big fear by self-obsessed people without an imagination of other people's imagination. Healthy people without an imagination can enjoy it. Healthy people, even with an imagination, can enjoy other people's imagination. They don't see it as a slight against their self-concept. And I think that Mary Shelley is very much a victim of that. I think if you give people enough time, as you know, George Lucas didn't create Star Wars. It was Marshall Lucas, his ex-wife, who created Star Wars. And that's why when everyone came and went in Star Wars, it was still Star Wars until George left. Guess what, folks? Star Wars was created by George Lucas. Were other people there? Were there writers? Were there editors? Did people give him notes? Star Wars was George Lucas's creation. Were other people there? Of course there were. That's how art works. But Mary Shelley was a genius. She wrote a genius work. Did she write more than one or two or three? Nothing close to Frankenstein, but who has? Bram Stoker wrote other books besides Dracula. But Dracula is his book. I would say she helped. She was part of it. But I think the other two editors who don't get enough credit were also a major part of it. And so there were 4 editors on that project. She had some thoughts. She gave some notes. That's what people do in relationships. You know what I mean? And it's natural. You share those things, with your partner. And by the way, this is the crazy part. This is his ex-wife. She's come out and said recently that the new Star Wars movies are ridiculous and that they totally are a betrayal of what George was doing with those stories. And you just go, man, how many people have to say a thing is true? You know what I mean? Yeah, neuroticism. I totally know what you mean. Yeah, you're right. I think that's just called neurotics. where you just end up with endless internal narration of what you imagine what you imagine other people are thinking. It's crazy to me. Yeah. He didn't write Amish romance, but he tried. Yeah, he would have made bank. I agree. There is Amish romance out there, I'm sure. That's where they come from. Yeah, they are hot garbage, yeah. But this is the main thing, right? Is that if you, how do I put it? The most dangerous thing you can do in terms of, it's not a very successful life strategy, is not be able to see other people's genius and knowledge in fields that you don't possess. You can't learn anything. You just can't. And you can't benefit from it. When I go, and we all know this, when you see a great doctor or a great nurse, speaking of Tammy who's here, there will come a time in your life where you're going to depend on people to either help you with their escapism artwork, or help you with medical care, or help you with any number of skills, plumbing, electricity, welding. I just go down the list of things, with flying an airplane, with building a runway and an airport and radar. You depend on all of these things. And when you don't recognize the talent and the merit that these things are actually hard, that's when you get incompetent people running things, because they think there's nothing this person knows that I don't know and I should be in charge. Then they get in charge, things go bad, and they go, it's their fault. No responsibility. Mary Shelley is responsible for Frankenstein, and it's a brilliant work. And the more I read about it, the more impressed I am. Auto repair. Amen, past Master Dan. Yep. There you go. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm designing that traffic bridge myself. Thank you very much, for real. There you go. You know what I'm talking about. Yep. I mean, storytelling can be therapeutic, but it takes imagination and creativity to make it therapeutic. It's at least therapeutic for me. Yeah. Here's the crazy thing about it, right? Is that I remember advising a substitute teacher for me when I was having a health thing, and I had to go in for what do you call them? It's not a CAT scan. It's one of those ones where you go into the tube and they slide you through it. I think it was an MRI, but I'm not sure. But I had to go in, I think, for an MRI. And the kid contacted me nervously, and he goes, I don't know what to do. They're just staring at me. I'm nervous. And I said, here's the secret, man. Secret to teaching. It's not about you. It's about them. Stop thinking about what they're thinking about you and start thinking about what you're supposed to be doing. So when I write a story, job one is to entertain. That's why we've got, muscular heroes and beautiful women and beautiful environments and cobblestone and gnarled trees and monsters. All of that stuff is there to entertain you. And that's job one. And to bring skill to it and competency and to bring all of that stuff to it. And I've always felt like bad art is being trapped in somebody else's therapy session that's got nothing to do with you and being forced to listen to it. And I like when art is something that is therapeutic for the audience in a sense. Like it reminds them of their values or their love of art, or makes them want to paint and all of that stuff. And yeah, that's the stuff that inspires me, man. Like that's the stuff that gets me excited, There you go. I love this stuff, guys. Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. Are you not entertained? 100%. You're right. 100% whatever I, gosh, it just jumped again. 100% whatever I may want to say with my story, my first duty is to entertain the audience. You're absolutely right. Or at least keep them interested. You know what's mind-blowing to that? For all of you guys, yep. Soul Curial says, yep. MRI, leave your, yes. You're absolutely right. Yeah, so one of the things that I think about that a lot is that I remember when Tolkien was talking about Lord of the Rings, and he said, my objective was that, or my question I started with for that story was, could I write a stupendously long story and maintain the audience's interest in it? You want to talk about the job of entertainment and the goal? Like, he boiled it down. He was a very, as you guys know, smart guy. Read a lot of stuff. But he brought down, his job for writing those books, that book series was, I want to write something that's very, very long, but I want to make sure it's entertaining. I think a lot of people following in his footsteps oftentimes start out with, I want to write something very, very long. And they forget the entertaining stuff, and, all that stuff, quote, world building is all fine and good, but you got to have a story in there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wrote top and Baldy. There you go. Krager showed off some masterpiece sketches. He called them trash. Yep. Sorry. Hey, babe, what's up?
I was just curious
How much longer I'm going to be streaming? Well, I said my wife is just asking me, Son of Liberty Radio, my wife is asking me how much longer I'm going to be streaming. So I don't know if you're quite there yet, but I think she's expecting me to wrap it up. So about 10 more minutes? 5 more minutes? Where am I at?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll wrap up soon. What do you call it? But yeah, about him, Mrs. Enjetti, people say yes. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 says 15 hours. Yeah, if you're looking for a reason to support. Oh, I'm home now, says Son of Liberty Radio. Excellent, my friend. Excellent. Are you? I hope you're home now. I hope you're not just saying that. So yeah, tell her 12 more hours, people say. Yes, they were gorgeous, and he said they were just. Yeah, wow, geez, I'm like hearing all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, stories can captivate you, and I want to do a series. The reason why I'm starting with Mary Shelley is because I think Mary Shelley is, one, important. I think what she wrote is important. I think that she is a genius, and I want people to confront that. I want people to, in the best sense, I want people who are really curious and appreciate genius to know that they're not wrong, and to give some depth to their understanding of what a brilliant human being she was, what a great writer, and how impressive Frankenstein is. And that we spent so much time making it either a, playing into the insecurity that no person could have created Frankenstein, or no person, she's not different than I am. Well, sorry to say, Mary Shelley is more creative than I will ever be based on the evidence we have at hand, which is fairly substantial. And that's okay, because I get to enjoy Mary Shelley's creativity, and she had to do the work to make it happen and live the life, which was a tough one. And on the other hand, also just sort of celebrate her humanity, because she was a human being and she did face the things she had to deal with at her time. And so hopefully that uplifts and inspires us. You know what I mean? That's the goal. Yeah, feed me, says Mrs. Enjetti. Yeah, she's trying to feed me, exactly. Fritzy Schnitzel, it's great to see you, my friend. All right, guys. I haven't updated the credits, and I'm going to have to do a masterfully big update, a huge, massive update. Yeah, that's a wrap-up cue. You're right, Moromi. So I'm going to have to head out now to spend some time with my wonderful family and my long-suffering wife. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I am so glad to hear Son of Liberty is home safe. And thank you to my channel members. You guys are awesome. Yes, I'm here on the East Coast, as you know. So allow me to say this from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Shanth Enjetti. This is Shanth Enjetti Art. Thank you guys for being here. Nosfero next, this coming Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, not today, 7 days from now. Nosfero the Crypt Walker Second Chance campaign is launching. And I am unbelievably excited to do the Second Chance campaign, the art edition. There's going to be a lot of cool limited stuff there. Thank you guys for being here. As always, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and of course, if I can do it, peace be with you. And have a wonderful rest of the day. I thank you guys. God bless you. Thank you. I'm so glad to see it. Yes, indeed. God bless, guys. I will see all of you guys soon. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, all of you guys. Much love. I will see you guys. Vielen Dank, auf Wiedersehen. Yeah, you guys are great. Hail Comicsgate. Hail all of you guys. I appreciate you being here. Later, taters, indeed. I will see you guys soon. Take care. And here are the credits. I will be updating them soon with all of our new channel members. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.